Conscious on the move, can't on the move, can't ignore it. I've been seeing all these broken promise, profit off our feelings. They post a slogan and they vanish when it's real. We've been people shouting from the corner corners, got them saying. I see you leaders talking circles, never walking what they preach. When the cameras start to fade, so does everything they speak. But the streets don't stay quiet, they remember every lie, every name, every face that just watches passing by. Conscious on the move, we're calling out the truth. No more shadows you can hide in, we're protecting all the youth. Every word, every promise that you make, we're keeping tabs on you. No escape from the mirror you face, we're holding you accountable. We don't need another slogan, we need action in the light. If you profit from our struggle, then you standing in our sight. From the boardroom to the block, every choice is being tracked. We remember where you stood when our backs were to the tracks. Conscious is on the move, we're calling out the truth. No more shadows you can hide in, we're protecting all the youth. Every word, every promise that you make, we're keeping tabs on you. No escape from the mirror you face, we're holding you accountable.
But you guys got to connect the dots, D-O-T-T-S, dots, that I have felt the most connected and valued.
It's an old saying called, ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun.
In my opinion, a house is a pimp.
I like to say I'm a man of God, and I do believe in a God. And whether you're Catholic, Catholic, Protestant, or whatever you may be, we serve the same God. So it's okay if we want to help out Catholics. We want to do something that the Catholics
Senior
do.
trustee. They don't respect my seat or my title, but they get upset when I talk about them. And yes, y'all are bobbleheads. Y'all don't think for yourselves. Y'all do exactly what the mayor says, and that's it. And I'm tired of that. Y'all got to stand up for yourself and have a voice for the people. It's the people first.
I've been in this village for 35 years. I've sat under 4 mayors. And I can honestly say that this administration is the worst administration that I've lived up under.
Good evening. Come as a resident tonight. I'm going to talk to a lady I used to call Mama. Trustee Stubbs, look at me when I'm talking to you. Please. Don't act like you don't ignore me, because I have a lot to tell about you. And you know, we used to sit in your room, in your house, and you know how you came against you because I said, why are you in the bed with Muhammad? Why are you in the bed with Pearson? Mama, what's the outcome? What did you tell me? What did you tell me? I asked you about BP Capital. Why would you take an organization out? Because you said they were ran by who? Forgive my language. Racist slurs against the ethnical group that they need to get out of here because they're doing nothing. And I told you they do more for me than any of you. But yet, I want to know, BP Capital. Then, trustee, I love you. I came to you from my heart, sweetie, when we got out here for you and pushed my tail off of y'all and prayed that y'all would do the right thing. And you sit up here. You the angel in this book. I didn't hold nothing against you, but you sit up here. And you know that woman dirty. I used to listen to her talk about Joyce Myers, the Bible, all that. Trustee Denton, I just want the truth here tonight. I'm coming as a resident and I'm coming as a homeowner. I have nothing else to say but the truth. I always talk help, but I'm sick of it because we pouring our souls out here. We giving our all. And y'all sitting up here playing with us like it's nothing. You letting that woman tell you, say it's okay. Don't you do this. Don't you do that. And you sit in the back zone. That woman don't run nobody. She stepped out her body and she's not acting right. I just want to know one thing. If you're giving BP Capital 600 houses and we in $1 million deficit, right? Let's just say we charge what? Let's just say we charge $2,000 per house. Ain't that a good investment for anybody? $2,000, $4,000. That gives us $1.5 million that we just say we'll give it away, or we'll pay trustees, or we'll pay their lawyers. You know what, y'all? It's a shame, but ain't nothing we can do. That's why you can sit up there, Muhammad, so cool, so relaxed, bro. It ain't nothing we can do. We messed up. We trusted you. I messed up, but I won't do it again. But I can tell you what, y'all all live in Dalton, right? I have 20 people outside of your house every day protesting until you leave this land.
Good evening. How is everybody this evening? I see Francois, how are you? And thank you, sir. Evo, I'm gonna say Evo because I don't want to butcher your name. Carefree, how are you? Douglas, Wyoming, always our favorite gal. Rita, how is Rita doing this evening? Now, oh, I didn't put the placemat up there, did I? All I have is conscious up there. Let me, put that. Well, it is true that, Ed Steave did get fired, but not as a trustee. You see, I like to go back and figure things out. Joe, how are you? And that, yep, it always rhymes. Yeah, Joyce Myers, yeah. Battlefield in mind. There's some things about Joyce Myers too, but, so, I always wondered, how do these people live with each other? Because Ed Steave was indeed fired. And I have to question, Ed, why are you hanging around Stubbs and Muhammad and all these people who fired you? Okay, so let's do a little fair use, little thing of jig bob in there, and that's good enough. Alrighty, here we go. It's good to see everybody. I promised you Dalton, and we're gonna have Dalton. And I hope you can't hear Mom's TV in the background. Whew, it's loud. Nope, Douglas, he's not fired as an elected official. So, this happened in September 4th, 2018. Okay? September 4th, 2018. Ed Steave was indeed fired, along with many other of Riley Rogers' staff, by the Terrible Four. So, it's always puzzled me. Why is Ed hanging around Mary Yvonne and BP Stubbs? So, let's take a look. Because Ed, what?
April.
How's everybody doing today?
April.
I noticed Trustee Denton. My name's Edward Steve. You don't know.
Order, please.
I'm the media director who runs the media center. And Denton, you said they're going to outsource it. That's all him. That's all him.
What happened? Where'd it go?
I want to remind people, you know, being that my department's about to be independent contractor, I'm about to lose my insurance. So I have to get all my doc's appointments out the way, all my MS specialists out the way, because they're about to take that. You know I'm sick, and you won't vote with him because he's mad at me. All I'm saying is that he's playing y'all three. He's playing y'all. I got that side camera over there. You can see him telling Stubbs, oh, don't say this. Oh, no, say that. You can see all that. And y'all let this man play on y'all. So you going to let him take my insurance and outsource it. He can't get down and do what I do. Believe me, I know. All he can do is try to find somebody that I possibly know, but they still can't get down and do what I do.
And I got to let him in the media center, so don't worry about it.
To say that they're going to outsource it, that means you're listening to him. But he don't know nobody. Anybody he knows, I know. So they're going to come to me and say, hey, you know he's trying to get me this job to do your job. So you keep following that man. Pearson, come on. You can't even look me in the eye knowing I need my insurance. And keep in mind, my MS is a progressive disease. So I just got some bad news where my MS is progressing.
Stress.
But I'm about to lose my insurance. And Pearson, you okay with that? You really okay with that? In the name of, because when Trustee Muhammad lost, he figured since I can't be married, I got to get 4 people with me so I can run things. And it's just disappointing, man. Good Lord. I can't believe you just said they don't outsource it. He had you read the media center resolution. You didn't know nothing about the media. But he used you because he couldn't do it. And y'all letting this play you like that. Trustee Tiffany Henry was smart enough to get off that boat and say, oh, I'm not going with that boat because that boat is sinking. I just said, come on, use your brain. Use us right. knowing that you know my family, Pearson. But hey, let this man go ahead and he'll be out of office pretty soon. Then this man had a whole big speech said, "Oh, this is not political," and took all the political jabs at the mayor. Talk about bankruptcy. He took all the political jabs and just said it's not political. Come on, you can't have it both ways. Either it's political or it's not. You take the emotion out of it. He's super angry. And he don't think people see this. He don't think people see how crazy that sounds. It's not political, and they take a bunch of political jabs. So, but God is in charge. I'll be straight. But he can't do what I can do in the media center. You got to get somebody who knows what they're doing in the media center and pay them.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
And have the codes to do it all.
And if you outsource,
ultimately you got to pay me.
Yeah. And if you outsource it, I can call Ed, Elizabeth, a number Matt, a lot of these people that they want to get rid of. Sunday, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't look at the clock at 5 o'clock when it's time to leave. They take away from their families their time. This weekend, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. This weekend, I asked them to help me do some things while they're off duty, not working on it. And they left their families and got out there in the rain and helped me. And you don't find that in people today. That's why what we do, what comes out of the mayor's office, all the communication comes out of the mayor's office, is because they do it regardless of how much time it takes to do it. And they do it.
Yeah, so Ed, or should I call you Instran, or Verizon, right? But Ed, we know all of your emails, all of your fake accounts, right? Because you kind of called me a coward in an email, right? But Ed, I gotta ask you, VP Stubbs and Dwayne Muhammad really kicked your ass and kicked you to the curb because they didn't care about your MS. They didn't care. Neither did Pearson. Neither did Denton. But I'll tell you what, who did? Jason House and Tiffany Henyard. They cared. So Ed, why are you so hard on Tiffany Henyard again? Because you wanted that seat. Because when you ran again, you lost. And you lost bad. So you have a little grudge. Oh yeah, he's Sherry. Yep, she was attacking. Ed was attacking. The trustees were attacking. Good evening, potato. Yeah, bobblehead. So Ed, why are you getting into bed with snakes again? The same snakes that fired you? Yep. Let me go back to the beginning of this movie. There we go. Let's get up here. Oh, look. Stubby Stubbs. What do you have to say? There we go.
They would wish to promote that is not normally part of
Yeah,
their
he
committee
lost his stamp
reports.
round.
Okay. No general announcement. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, may I be recognized?
Go ahead,
Mayor?
trustee.
On Friday, August 31st, 2018, a dedication of the water fountain on Park Avenue was dedicated to the late Mayor William Bill Shaw, who was not only the first African-American mayor of the village of Dalton from 1997 to 2008. He also was a senator for the 15th district who was able to secure a beautiful water fountain at no cost to the residents of Dalton. I would just like to take this time to thank the entire Board of Trustees, along with other elected officials, Ms. Louise Copeland, Library Board, Stan Brown, Park District, employees from Dalton.
You see, y'all want to be on this Tiffany Henyard hate train. And I'm kind of wondering why. I've always wondered why. Did I like her attitude? No, of course not. But this goes way back because all of these people know each other. Now, at the fake caucus with Napoleon, who was there? Dwayne Muhammad, Stubby Stubbs, Mary Avant, Jason House, Brittany Norwood, right? Pearson, were you there? Of course, Ed Steave was there. and you knew it wasn't right. Napoleon Harris probably could have beaten Tiffany fairly. But you all put on such a hate campaign and attacked all the channels of people that questioned it. So we're going back in time. And again, Ed, Bobblehead, Instrand, why are you getting into bed with these people? These people who fired you. Okay, there we go. That's the engineer. And here's Dwayne. Right,
The month of
Dwayne?
August 2018 by Mrs. Barbara Batten, who is the supervisor of the
Oh
water
yeah,
department.
Dwayne, and you and your son were in charge of Melanie Fitness while you had that stripper in there and all kinds of liquor and everything. Wasn't that right? Because then, BP Stubbs wanted you fired. Remember that? But now you're so cozy with each other, right? Because Stubbs and Henyard were together. And they went to the Melanie Fitness and they saw what was happening. And in a public meeting, Stubbs asked for you to be kicked off the committee for Melanie Fitness. Isn't that right? You're all a den of snakes. There is no loyalty between you. Jason, I'm telling you, they are conspiring as we speak.
Department. The total water collections was $715,136.28, and
Oh,
the
yes,
other
you did,
collections were
Douglas, yeah.
$416,490.20. The grand total collections was
kidding,
$1,131,626.48. The dollar amount of water
Yeah.
bills that are 120 days or more past due
Wasn't he stalking you, Berg? Ed, do you know she has the tapes?
is $1,993,557.05, and this is an increase of $329,352.10.
Yes, you probably will.
And that is my report for the Human Services, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, next thing is Trustee Hendrick, planning.
Oh, don't forget they kicked Henyard
Good evening,
off the
everyone.
committee.
Thank you guys for coming out this evening. Village of Dalton Housing Report, August 1st through August 31st, prepared by Denise Fields. 36 property transfer tax, 62 transfer tax,
Oh, he
16
sure is,
sale
Berg.
inspections, 34 as is, 9 quick claim, 12 judicial deeds, 3 trust deeds, 1 deed in lieu, 26 rental licenses,
see it
36
now.
rental inspections, 309 vacant property
Especially
permits,
with that
13 tenant water deposits,
Mary.
20 escrow deposits, 27 escrow release inspection, 25 escrow refunds, 8 grass invoices, 76 housing tickets. The total process was $745. The total revenue.
I gotta say something too. Pardon me for interrupting. You know what? Tiffany Henyard would have never ran for mayor if it wasn't for Riley Rogers. Why? Because Riley Rogers had a referendum to hold the trustees to 2 terms. So Henyard didn't have a choice. She had to run for mayor. So good for you, Rogers. This mess probably wouldn't be happening, but hey, there she goes.
Revenue collected was $110,000 and $110,558.75
Probably, Douglas.
was collected for the revenue. And then
The way
also,
politics
she
go.
did a vacant property registration. For the month of May, we collected $9,720. For the month of June, we collected $42,000. For the month of July, we collected $16,888. End of report for housing.
Okay, thank you, Trustee
Douglas.
Hendrick. Next thing is Trustee Stubbs, Departmental Operations.
Good evening, everyone.
Stubby Stubbs.
I hope that you had a great holiday.
Yeah, you've been drinking?
Public Works Productivity Report for
That's the
August
question.
2018, submitted by Matt Stacy, Superintendent. Public Works has cut and cleaned 63 vacant properties, lots, walkways, and islands. Public Works has installed, checked, and repaired 44 streetlights. Public Works has cut down 31 dead trees and trimmed 27 trees. Public Works has installed, checked, and repaired 3 streetlights. Public Works has repaired 17 B boxes, 2 water main breaks, cleaned and repaired 7 sewers. Public Works has worked on
No, it
shutoffs
won't.
for delinquent properties. They have successfully shut off 178
Actually, before
properties.
2013.
They found 93 properties that are still dig jobs. 22 properties
They got
have
money now.
made payment arrangements with the water department. They also completed 2 emergency water turnoffs. Public Works has successfully restored 8 properties after water main breaks, B-box repairs, and sewer repairs. Public Work Mechanics has serviced 4 police department vehicles, 1 fire department vehicle, and 20 public works vehicles, along with miscellaneous jobs that have come into the shop. This is a reminder, please put your garbage out the night before your garbage pickup day, along with any debris that you may have. Homewood is picking up yard waste, tree branches. Please use brown bags, not plastic. Please cut your
visualize that.
branches into 4 feet sections, tied.
Okay, good for you. Let's get into it. They're going to give their reports. And then public comment is going to be crazy.
16 on the agenda is Finance Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. I have
Finance.
2 reports, one short and the other quite extensive. If I can get you, Mr. Kemp, to approach the microphone.
Oh, Mr.
And I'll
Kemp.
introduce you after I read the first report from Mrs. Redmond.
Now, Mr. Kemp was not officially hired by the Board of Trustees, but they paid him anyways, allegedly. I haven't seen the bill. Yes, let's go to Rome with love. What's going on with the chocolate lounge? I am so impressed with her and her son and her father. And Jason, why can't you give him a license again with nothing? Here comes Mr.
If you would,
Kemp.
Mr. Kemp, the microphone. Finance report September 4th, 2018. The amended fiscal year 2019 budget was passed on Friday, August 10th.
Yep.
The Finance Department is working with the Finance Committee and independent financial advisor, Marlo Kemp, to have a balanced budget. The due date for the second installment property tax bill was Wednesday, August 1st. As of August 31st, we have received $7,146,187.36 of the $9,600,000. Let me say that second number again. Of the $9,645,831.70 bills extended. This represents a collection rate thus far of 74%. The Finance Department and Attorney Murphy are in communication with the City of Chicago, which I'll go into detail on my second part of this report.
Yeah, the city of Chicago that you owed $8 million to for backwaters, that you're still paying today, right? That's why on the warrant list you see 2 payments to the city of Chicago for water. You'll also see a lot of times 2 payments to Homewood Disposal, because there's a bond for them too. You see, there is 3 or 4 bonds that the city has taken out.
To resolve our water bill challenges. The next meeting before the judge is scheduled for Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Our auditors, Lauterbach and Amon, will be on site for audit fieldwork September 17th through the 28th. The purpose of the visit is to complete the fiscal year 18 audit, in which we are striving for another unqualified opinion. And before I go into my second report, Mr. Kemp, I wanted you up here to state your observations and analysis thus far that you've helped this village in a voluntary capacity to see where we're at now and where we need to go.
Was that really voluntary, Muhammad? They hired a lawyer. They hired this guy, allegedly. He says he's working for free. Who works for free? When they have a finance director that said that they didn't need to cut all of Riley's staff. Go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Kemp, at the microphone, please.
I don't know, Wyoming.
Thank you, Trustee.
Good,
I have
good
been
question.
working since the last meeting with Trustee Muhammad, Ms. Redmond, and
Of course.
Trustee House, taking a look at the budget and seeing where there were opportunities and things like that. I met with Ms. Redmond
I haven't seen an
via
explanation
telephone.
for that.
We went over the proposed budget. Part of the issue is that there are a lot of things in the budget that are contractually obligated, and because they are contractually obligated, they cannot be eligible for cuts. What that does mean, though, is that of the things that remain, there actually has to be a higher percentage of those things cut if you are to have a balanced budget. So one of the issues that had come up is a bond issue that could then be used to cover at least $900,000 of the current gap, which would then give you $900,000 on the revenue side. Initially, there was still approximately a $448,000 gap. Going through the revenues with Ms. Redmond, we were able to conclude that some of the revenues for like refuse and things like that were a bit lower than they could have been. And so based on their past trends, we were able to effectively push those revenues upward. And so as a result, instead of having a $448,000 deficit, the deficit was down closer to $302,000.
Okay, so let me tell you about the bonds. They take out bonds every year, and they pay them back through your property taxes. That's how the bond system works. They do it every year. They renew. Jason House said we haven't had a bond since 2009. Jason, you're a liar. Yes, they are 2009 bonds. However, you renew them every single year. Yeah, the flooding, the streets, infrastructure, nothing's being taken care of. Nothing. But we go to Rome.
Then, so what the remaining issue is that there has to be a way to cover that particular gap. There are several options that are on the table. One is to increase the bond issue from $900,000 to $1.3 million, which would then balance the budget for this fiscal year. However, that $1.3 million carries with it a bit of risk because you have to be sure that you can find someone who will purchase the bonds. And so that's part of the issue. The other option is to stay at $900,000 and say we're going to cut our way to a balanced budget. And as I mentioned before, Ms. Redmond and I went through and looked and saw that some of these things, some of the things that would have been included in a larger overall cut had to be eliminated. So for example, you're not going to cut fuel because one, you don't know what the fuel costs are and gasoline prices fluctuate. So what wound up happening is you have to take a higher percentage of a smaller amount. So you could get it all that way, or you could do what I like to call a hybrid, which is make some cuts and then increase, instead of increasing it by, from 900,000 to 1.3 million, maybe increase it to 1.1 million
like he didn't
or some
get paid?
percentage in between. Part of the issue is that, even as we try to plan for this year's budget, you want to start looking long term and seeing how viable this can be going forward. And so a couple of the observations was that, one, you have a $1.3 million of your revenue or $900,000 of your revenue that is coming from tax anticipation notes. And unless we can somehow recover an additional $900,000, you'll be having to do tax anticipation notes going forward. The other observation is that $600,000 of your revenue is coming from the sale of the Dorchester, and that is a one-time deal. And so in subsequent years, you have to find a way to replace that $600,000 as well. And so what that all boils down to is, in the long term, you have somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million of revenue that we're going to have to find a way to stabilize in terms of being able to get it year after year. And that is going to be one of the challenges going forward.
Okay, did you have a question for him, Trustee?
Thank you for that. Just wanted to kind of
Douglas.
put a little bit more framework on there. We did have several meetings in the spirit of working together collectively as a board. Some of the estimations that were made, Mrs. Redmond, myself, are still in disagreement with the estimates. However, as a board and the majority, it was been voted that to move forward, and in the spirit of moving forward, we set some meetings to take a look at what the amended budget would look like. I think we had some very cordial discussions through the disagreement. However, I would say I think I still hold the stance that the amendment is not necessary. I think I would, again, defer back to our finance director, who has stated that it's not necessary. And then also the proposed solution, as I'm hearing it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is an increased bond. And my thought would be, if we're going to do an additional bond, I think we should do enough to cover the employees who work hard day to day in this village of Dalton to make sure that we continue getting the service that we deserve.
Respond, if you could respond.
Yes, I am not here to say what you can and cannot do. I'm simply saying, here's a look at the numbers, and here's what you kind of see, going forward. Historically, so the issue is that if you actually do a bond issue to try to cover the employees, then you're going to have to do that every year until you can somehow make up the revenue that it takes. Honestly, when I looked, I said, there are plenty of challenges that the village is facing right now from a fiscal standpoint, and that's not to be good or bad or negative. It's just when you look at the audits and things like that, that's just where we are, and somehow in order to kind of get it so that you can start stabilizing and get to a point of stability and then start to grow, that you're going to have to find a way to, for lack of a better word, wean ourselves off of the tax anticipation notes. That's not going to happen overnight. When I looked at the budgets and all of the audits and everything, my estimate is about 5 years or so. But you have to every year kind of make a little more incremental progress. I mean, some of that's going to come
Douglas,
because of the natural, the 4.9% that you're allowed in the property taxes.
Is it up and working now?
Some of it may come in growth in other revenues, but really it kind of, the thing is the tax anticipation notes cost you money too, just like it costs money for anybody to borrow money. And so these tax anticipation notes don't only cost the $900,000 or however much it is you borrow. They're also going to be charging interest, and so that's money then that can't be used to hire, policemen and everything else. What it does kind of point to, though, is one of the things that I would recommend is that you do kind of like a 3 to 5 year forecast, not necessarily a year-to-year budget. It's certainly your year-to-year budget is going to be the most important document, but a 3 to 5 year forecast so that you could actually kind of paint with very broad strokes like what kind of money you're going to be needing in the future. And of course, as you get closer to those time frames, you can actually begin to shape and take a look at and more accurately forecast things. But it would not be a bad idea at all to start out and say, where do we want to be 3 to 5 years from now, and what revenue sources do we have that will help us get to that particular point.
Okay. There are no other questions to Mr. Kemp. You can have a seat. Thank you.
Yeah, have a seat, Mr. Kemp. And prayers to Karis and Beth. Something is going on with them. And please, say prayers for them. We appreciate them. We're thinking about them. And you have our prayers and love. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you so much. And I'll go to the last part of my report. Clerk, you have this for the record, and I want to read it publicly for the record as well. Tuesday, September 4th, 2018, Finance Report, Dwayne Muhammad, Finance Chairperson. On Monday, August 10th of this year, the trustees, along with the Finance Department, called for a special board meeting to pass the budget with amendments for fiscal year 2018-2019. The primary reason for the meeting was to go over every line item that there was on the budget to explain reductions, cuts, increases, and the dire financial situation of the Village of Dalton. Throughout the year, we as a board received warnings of monies running out by November of 2018. Assessments had to be made between our Finance Department and our auditors concerning an $8 million water bill owed to the City of Chicago, and how we will, the village, meet such a large bill brought on by a lawsuit from the city. Critical cuts in personnel and non-personnel related items had to be made. But all the cuts in the world will not help our budget unless there are also some other forms of revenue coming into our village. Many residents, when you hear of the budget, you may not think it is as important to keeping our streets cleaned, snow removal, the number of police officers patrolling our village, or getting getting the street repaired on the very block you live on, where you have to weave in and out in order to avoid the potholes. All of these are related to our budget that affects every resident in Dalton. The budget of
So why, Dwayne, can't people drive down the roads in Dalton? Nice speech, but it didn't happen, did it?
the Village of Dalton, what is it? We have a budget of approximately $18 million. What does that mean? Well, our budget is a statement of the financial position of an administration for a definite period of time, which is that 1 year that the Mr. Marlowe referred to, based on estimates of expenditures or expenses during that same period of proposals for financing them. In its simplest forms, it means this. We as a village collect approximately $18 million through taxes and fees. This means The monies the village collects to give services to you, the residents, cannot exceed $18 million. It's no different than what you do for your own household day to day. You have a budget based on your income, whether you're working or retired on a fixed income. Now, it was said from this dais on August 10th that I, Trustee Muhammad, don't have the qualifications to be the finance chairman and that someone else should chair this committee. In finances, even understanding budgets, one can surely understand you can't be over a committee or finance and your personal finances are not in order. You can't run a village or assist in running a village in a financial capacity if you have filed several bankruptcies, had your homes foreclosed upon, and have bad credit. I have none of these. I have good credit. My mortgage and bills are paid on time like many of you. You have to have intellectual curiosity when approaching any task and learning. It is not rocket science. You cannot spend more than the monies you are bringing in. You cannot bond or borrow monies to meet your financial obligations of an $18 million budget. This current budget shows a possible bond borrowed of over $1 million to meet our general obligations. This is not the way you run a village. This is not the way you run a corporation. Simply, it's like trying to pay your bills with a credit card with high interest. We, as a legislative body who have a fiduciary responsibility to you, the residents, cannot continue to borrow our way out of debt. Revenues must be increased in order to offset the deficit that has plagued this village for at least the last 5 years. We are still working on the budget, formulating cuts across the board. This means that all departments have to find ways to cut expenses unrelated to personnel cuts. We must bite the bullet and look for ways to reduce this deficit. A couple of department heads have come forward with some cost-saving measures, and every little bit helps. It is your tax dollars and the fees that you pay to this village that are used in the day-to-day operation of this village. On Monday, August 10th, there were many who came to these microphones pleading for 1 or 2 individuals to save their jobs. A budget, when it is drawn up, becomes law when it is passed by the trustees, by this board of trustees. It must be followed by everyone who lives in the village of Dalton. Though we currently have ordinance passed, and this mayor refuses to follow some of them, and the board has no choice but to take him to a judge, and the judge order him to abide by a duly voted on ordinance by a board of trustees. Just like you and I have to abide by the law, or we're subject to a fine or imprisonment in some cases. No one is above the law, not a trustee, not a clerk, and definitely not the mayor. If you, as a resident, are fined for an infraction based upon a resolution or an ordinance that's passed, so should an elected official be subject to a fine. No one is above the law. Now back to those who lobby for certain employees not being let go for budgetary reasons.
Yeah, well, you know, in the words of Kiana Belcher, cut your pay. Right, Kiana? You're the highest paid trustees in the area. Kiana Belcher, you got up to the microphone and said, cut your pay. And I'm going to clip that for the intro, too.
Not one person who was the proponent or advocate for those employees gave a solution to where will the monies come from by keeping these individuals on. Many charged us with this being a political move. This certainly was not political, and there were employees affected across the board. This budget passed by the board still faces a deficit, and some think borrowing money to get us through the next year is a temporary solution. This budget, at least for the last 5 years, a bond was taken out to pay those bills. This is no way to run a corporation, which is what this is. We're government, yes, but we're also like a corporation with employees, insurance premiums to pay, taxes to the state and federal government, and many other expenses. The emotion has to be removed in the process of going through a budget of nearly 450 line items.
Exactly, potato.
There were charges of a personal nature hurled at me, and all were based on misinformation, half-truths, and outright lies. As finance chair and a trustee that is entrusted to look at our finances along with the mayor and staff, we as a collective must come up with solutions to the dire financial crisis that this village is currently in and has been in for some years. On advice of our legislative council, we have been afforded the opportunity to work with Mr. Marlo Kemp, who is a professional in the field of finance, accounting, and budgets. Mr. Kemp has volunteered his services to us and has no dog in this race and has given an objective analysis of our problem. Mr. Kemp met with Ms. Redmond, Trustee House, and myself concerning this budget. Mr. Kemp has made recommendations on this budget that I agree are the best route to take for fiscal responsibility to get us out of this hole that has taken years to dig. My suggestion to this board, and Mr. Kemp agrees, is to not manage this village always in crisis mode. We're coming up with a projection of a yearly budget. We have to be in the business of projecting 3 to 5 year budgets like many other municipalities does in managing their operations. In order to do this, our administration has to be disciplined in following the budget and keeping the department heads in line on staying on budget in their respective departments. But we must get cooperation from the mayor's office as we have gotten from staff such as Ms. Redmond. The mayor has been absent in this process and offers no real solution to our financial issues. He says he will not get involved because anything he suggests will be shot down. This type of rhetoric is unacceptable. All hands should be on deck, giving whatever input they have in making this village a financially sound village. Politics have to be removed in this process. The finger-pointing must end, and a cooperative effort must replace tribal politics and dividing this village with innuendos, half-truths, and in many cases, outright lies. As a board, we must come together to solve the issues of this village, but we welcome the mayor's input as well. This must be a team effort. It's not about taking the power away from one individual. The current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, said, "Only I alone."
Order!
Only.
Order!
The current president of the United States, Donald Trump, said, "Only I."
Order!
The current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, said, "Only I alone can solve the problems of the United States." And we all agree, as the crowd states, that's not true. Congress serves as a check and balance for the executive branch of government, which is the president. And we, the Board of Trustees, a legislative body, is the check and balance for the executive branch of government here in Dalton, which is our president, Mayor Riley Rogers. We ask that the politics stop and the solving of problems. We ask that the politics stop and the solving of problems, such as the financial condition of this village, be given a priority. Serious issues face this village in the way of the billing of water to our residents. Serious issues face this village in the way of billing of water to our residents. A laser-like focus has to be on the water department to get that department in order. I'm sure we all agree that monthly billing will help to solve this issue, along with fixing the problem of errant billing that has gone on for years. If it's a software problem, fix it. If it's a personnel problem, fix it. Attention must be put on departments that are causing hardship for our residents concerning wrong billings and having qualified persons in departments that will make this a more professionally run village. We have to look at the contracts between the village and the unions that cause large amounts of overtime that goes into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not to say that the village is taking on an anti-union stance. I myself was a union man for over 20 years, and I truly understand the benefits of belonging to a union. And some of those areas that we as a village must renegotiate in order to have the best position with the unions that are contracted with our village. There cannot be an abuse of contracts where the village suffers financially. We are not in the strong financial position we were years ago with our unions. I have heard myself in the past the following words: "I hope we can meet payroll this week." These are words that should never be uttered from those who see revenue coming into the village in an anemic state. Lastly, our water bill owed to the city of Chicago. This is a serious situation that must be addressed. At our last special board meeting, I asked our village attorney, John Murphy, to explain the importance of the relationship of payment to the city of Chicago from the village of Dalton. We have had at least 2 meetings in downtown Chicago in the Daily Center with the attorneys of the city of Chicago, the judge overseeing this case, and 2 finance persons representing the city. Representing Dalton in these meetings were Ms. Redmond of the Finance Department, Attorney Murphy, Trustee Pearson, and myself, Trustee Muhammad. Mayor Rogers did not appear at any of these hearings or meetings. $8.3 million is owed to the city of Chicago in arrearages. The attorney explained to the public that the tax levy has to be raised in order to meet the obligation of about $810 million to be paid to the city over the next possible 10 years. This is money that could go to the improvement of streets, cutting down and trimming of trees, bringing business to the community that relies heavily on real estate taxes from you and me, the resident. Again, it has to be a team effort from all elected officials in solving these most important financial issues. $8 million is nothing to sneeze at. Paying over $800,000 a year on top of our current water usage is no laughing matter. Now, I'm the messenger of bad news, but I'm also giving you a message of truth. I may not be looked at favorably by you in delivering hard truths. I will work on delivering my message to you, which can come off as harsh and biting. It is not my intent. I think it was Reverend Jesse Jackson that said, "God is not through with me yet." I think it was Reverend Jesse Jackson that said, "God is not through with me yet." I agree. I am a work in progress. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, no, not one. I'll say that again. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, no, not one. We tend to be impatient with each other, and that's okay. I've come to deal with that as an elected official. Continue to call me as you have done. My cell phone is published on the website. Stop me on the streets and in the places you see me around town. Continue to encourage me to give the good fight. Critique me and tell me where I need to improve, because I'm not above your critique of me. And tell me where I need to improve, because again, I'm not above your critique of me. And know that I come to this position as a servant for the people of my community. This is not my livelihood as a trustee. It is a temporary position that you, the voting residents of Dalton, chose me to do a job. In doing
Yeah, and they voted your ass out. You know, I'll tell you a story. Somebody asked me, well, what about your village? Is your village up in level? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, the mayor was walking to work, right? Walking to his office. So, Mayor, come in here. Look at the food pantry. Look at what everything is going on in here. That man turned around, followed me in, and took a tour of the food pantry. That's what mayors do. And I doubt if anybody stopped Dwayne Muhammad on the streets that he would have a conversation. Go ahead.
this job, I know it doesn't make everyone happy. Let me read that again. It is a temporary position that you, the voting residents of Dalton, chose me to do a job. In doing this job, I know it doesn't make everyone happy. I'm a resident just like you. I love Dalton. I see the great potential of Dalton. I see the great potential of its residents as I talk to you on a regular basis. Don't judge me by these cameras and the editing of cameras. Now one has been placed less than 10 feet from me and edited to show me in a light that is not me. Some of you have said the camera close to me shows me sitting improperly. I'll say that again. Some of you have said the camera close to me shows me sitting improperly. Know that I've had back issues for years and have recently had back surgery. And anyone who has had back surgery knows that you can never get comfortable sitting in most chairs. But ask the question, why was the second camera placed? Again, politics. Nasty, mean-spirited politics. It was one of my great mentors, Mayor Harold Washington of Chicago, who said, politics.
The crowd doesn't want to hear you, Muhammad. You keep repeating yourself. Go ahead. There.
Well, since since half of that speech was about me, I'm gonna agree with one thing that you did say. That's a temporary position. We got 8 months to deal with you. Next thing is special events trustee. Henry.
I don't even know how to come behind that. Okay, I'm gonna be brief, you guys. Really brief. I'm excited. Just so you guys know, our council walk date is October 13th. I hope you all come out and walk with us. We walk down Sibley. It's literally no more than an hour of your time. If you want to donate, buy t-shirts, anything, you guys, please come out October 13th, which is a Saturday. It's gonna be scheduled at 9 a.m. We normally meet in the parking lot of Blast Fitness, which is now a beauty supply store. I don't know if we're gonna do there or Thornridge High School. Right now, I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do Thornridge or there. But I will have the pluggers and flyers ready, so please show up and show out with us. I appreciate that. Last but not least, I just want to give you guys an announcement as to when you are renting to someone, to the landlords or the tenant.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Sorry, Tiffany, but on the Conscious Community post, there is a free video for everyone to watch. Okay.
I forgot to give this. Someone called my office the other day, and the issue was that someone ran off with their money. The person did not own the house. I normally get this information after the fact, so my advice to you residents are to do your checks and balances. Come into the village, find out the person owned the house. You can check with Denise Fields over here. You can check to see if they owe a water bill. They owe a ton of money. I ain't gonna say the number on a water bill. The individual cannot get the water turned on in their name or get their security deposit back because the individual did not own the property. So please, please, please educate your loved ones or anybody that's trying to rent or anywhere for that matter. Check before you give your money up. And one other issue I got a call about, people are calling residents' homes, telling them to switch over to whether it's Night Court or ComEd. my opinion to that, I don't believe it's legit. I'm only saying that because I advised this individual not to do so. When she asked for a return phone call number, they did not give her one. So they said that they had to call her in order to get the information, and they wanted her information to her account. So again, you guys ask questions, reach out, and pay attention. Protect one another. Thank you, Mayor. End of report.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going to mention
Yeah. I was going to have the chief do it, but if you want to do it. All right. All right. Okay, next thing on the agenda is corporate bills.
I make a motion to pay the corporate bills of corporate payments register 126 of $671,701.44 with a gross payroll of $374,150.44 with the Melanie Fitness Center of $6,729.31 with a gross payroll of $2,070 with the total corporate payments of $1,054,651.19.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded to pay the corporate bills as stated. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I had asked Ms. Redmond for a copy of those invoices for the $50,000 that was paid out for sidewalks and the street expansions. So that's the only thing that I really had a question about, and I would like to see them before I vote to pay the corporate bills, with the exception of 5 Star. That's
Okay.
on page 5.
What is the total amount of line?
Page 8, I'm sorry.
Page 8 for 5 Star. Outstanding. Hello? What is the total amount on page 8 that's outstanding to be paid?
That amount is $50,175.
So none of those invoices have been paid?
That's not the question.
No, I didn't say I didn't want to pay them. I say I would like to see those invoices before I vote to pay them.
Okay, it's your prerogative to not vote to advance the payment.
So, Mayor, may I speak, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Maybe we could remove that amount and pay the rest of the corporate bills, and once we get copies, and we could look and see what that's about, and we could take a phone consensus to pay that amount once the trustees want to weigh in on it.
Yes. Can I be recognized, Mayor?
Not everybody might do that. She can vote individually.
Okay, go ahead, trustee.
Yeah, these questions that the trustees have put forth, I did bring these to Ms. Redmond this morning. Actually, there were a total of 10. One of them actually being the Chicago water payment that we paid. I think last month it was over $100,000, and why it wasn't on the warrant list. And for the edification of the trustees, the reason why it wasn't on the warrant list because the billing that we received from the city of Chicago was usually after the warrant list is published. The other question the trustees have that I'll just represent, it was the Avalon Petroleum. And Mayor, if you can answer that would be helpful. But she informed me, and we do have department heads here now, and they can chime in, that the Avalon Petroleum system that was installed a year or two ago, we wanted to know what is the monitoring on that. In other words, the gasoline that's being taken out of those tanks for the use of the village vehicles, is it still being monitored, whereas personal vehicles are not being filled up with gas? Vehicles that are taken home on personal use are not being unused. So she's not here. She was getting that information from the department head. So Mayor, if you could chime in, or any other department heads can give us the answer to that question on what is the monitoring of the Avalon Petroleum that's pumped out of that system located at Public Works.
Why are you asking me to chime in on it? You've asked Ms. Red to give you the information.
Again, Ms. Redmond's response was that the department heads could answer that, but I know that all department heads, I would assume, report to the mayor, and that you would have some input on that.
I don't have any input on it.
Okay. So at this point, we don't know what the monitoring of that petroleum is. I'll wait for Ms. Redmond to get in touch with all the department heads of the village to know that the gasoline that the village residents are paying, exactly that it's going to those vehicles. There was another item on here. I believe it's Hellsell Japperson, and the trustees can help me on it. It had something to do with the amount was $3,000. I think it was Emmy Simpson. Pardon me. That was Emmy Simpson for $9,159 on page 7. And maybe Public Works can answer that for us. Trustee Pearson, if you remember, that was for some kind of leak detection. Yes. Was that for the resolution that was passed last month? We're not absolutely sure on that. Maybe Public Works can chime in on that one if you're familiar with that one. Mr. Stacy?
Yes, sir. That's for the leak detection program that you guys voted on last month. They are just now completing it, and we should have a report within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you for that. The other ones, since they're, well, like I said, Ms. Redmond is not here. We'll wait for her correspondence. So, Attorney, I don't know if we want to have an amendment to vote on Trustee Stubbs' motion to hold back on payment of 5 Star, because the motion has been made to pass the.
Right, there's a motion on the floor that has to be dealt with first. Either vote on that motion, or whoever made the motion can withdraw it, and then you can do an amended motion. But you can't vote on a second motion before you deal with the first motion on the floor.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the corporate bills as presented. Motion by Trustee Muhammad, second by Trustee House. There being no further discussion, Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Motion carries. 6 ayes. Now, does it have to be an amended motion on the exemption of the payment of that? Yeah. Okay. All right. Next thing.
Point of information, Attorney. The way we've normally done this, according to per Attorney Murphy, that if there's a question concerning an item on the warrant list, that we do a second vote to take out that particular question, which was 5 Star. That a second vote is, which is an amendment on the first vote, which was the
Okay,
passing.
you can, well, someone has to bring forth the motion to amend.
I would like to make a motion to amend the warrant list to pay everything but 5 Star until we receive those invoices, and we can do a phone census on paying those once we see them.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to amend the payment of the corporate bills to exempt, or exclude, I should say.
Pay them all but
Yeah, to exclude 5 Star. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
No.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
No.
4-2.
Okay, four ayes. 2 noes, motion passed. All right, next thing on the agenda is old business. Item A, it's the mayoral veto of ordinance number 18-010. And today I am
Oh, yeah.
am vetoing the ordinance number 18. Vetoing ordinance number 18-010. And this veto simply reads, I hereby veto ordinance number 18-010. This ordinance eliminates the positions held by key executive staff members. These staff members provide essential information to the residents and provide tremendously important services to our residents. These people are greatly responsible for making Dalton work. The elimination of these positions has nothing to do with balancing the budget and everything to do with political retaliation. Unless at least one of the 4 trustees who voted for the ordinance reconsiders and does the right thing, the village will face expensive, embarrassing litigation, which is greatly disrespectful to our taxpayers. More importantly, the residents of the village of Dalton will lose out on the wonderful and valuable services provided by these employees. I respectfully request that this board uphold my veto at the next regular board meeting, dated September 14th, respectively submitted, Mayor Riley H. Rogers. For the record, I'm tendering this veto to clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Trustees have already received a copy.
Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda is the hiring of 2 police officers full-time. Trustee Pearson. I think you gave your.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. In the committee meeting we had on the 30th, it was discussed to hire the 2 police officers that was put into the budget, and we also took a phone consensus with the trustees. Everybody was in favor, so I'd like to make.
So, how can you hire police officers if you're broke? And you're gonna go ahead and wipe out Rogers' administration. All of these people, they're gonna vote out. So let's go ahead and get to public comment.
2 full-time, is that feasible than the 15 part-time officers?
Yes, I spoke to Chief Collins about it, and he said that
Bringing in a new investor into town would subject that.
I think this is just a speaker, and we'll go to public comment. Because it gets wild. Mayor's report.
We are looking for vendors. It's going to be Saturday, September 15th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm also working to get some health screeners.
There we go.
I'm just going to make a couple of announcements today. When I first started coming to these meetings a few years back, I came in my role as a director for NHS and bringing resources for the residents. kind of got away from it because I got caught up in really what's happening in our village, and I'm still intrigued by it. But I wanted to do this because I received a call today. So NHS still offers assistance to homeowners that are struggling to make their mortgage payments. There's still money.
Yeah, it is, isn't it, French? It's skipping. It's their site.
Available to assist you if you lost your job, or if there's death of a title holder, or as a series of eligibility. I didn't bring all the requirements with me because I was off today. But if you're interested, I know there's some flyers on the table. If you know anyone that's struggling to make that.
You can hear my mother's TV. Go ahead, live with it. I mean, she's she's deaf. What do you want me to do? I'm downstairs. You know, what do you want me to do? She's watching Death in Paradise, okay? Let her watch some murder, old-fashioned murders. Ooh. Death in Paradise. She loves that show. That's why I'm muted half the time.
That mortgage payment, if a life event has happened, you can still get help. So I want to let that be known. Also, Cook County Health Systems has a program that we're partnering with them on. If you are in a household with a child at 6 years or under, and your home was built prior to, was it 1978, you may be eligible to get an inspection for lead. And if there is lead found, they will come in and repair and make any remediations that are necessary. If it means replacing windows, doing gutters, wherever they're finding the lead, it's a free service. And a lot of folks did not take advantage of these services. They launched this back in, I want to say May. They've only gotten 2 applications. And I know Dalton has a, excuse me, housing stock that was built prior to 1978. So even if you are a grandparent that watches your grandchildren for at least 5 to 6 hours per day for a period of time, you still may be eligible. I know we came in and we met with the media department and did a recording of it, so check out that whenever it's ready. So these things are available for homeowners. There are resources. There's also still resources available for homeowners who need to do home improvements on their house and may not have the full amount. This comes in the form of a loan, but there's a 50% grant, so up to $30,000 you can get repairs done to your house. The grant only covers $15,000, but you would have to repay the rest. So there are still options for people to make improvements on their homes, very reasonable rates. And also, perhaps Trustee Hinyard and I can get together and do some events to talk about some of the things that are available. And if there's other questions, we can just have some type of event here and let you know about everything that's available for homeowners. Excuse me. There's also monies available for first-time home buyers. If you know anybody interested in buying a house, you can reach out to NHS and we'll tell you what that's all about. There are some restrictions regarding this program, but the dollar amount is up to $15,000 to purchase a home. There are some preferred lenders. U.S. Bank is not one of them. So if you're working with U.S. Bank, you won't be able to get this grant. Okay. And lastly, now my NHS hat is off, and I'm going to put my resident hat on. I just want to ask a question. I wrote a note here, and Trustee Muhammad, you had made a comment that at one of the meetings where the residents came up and expressed that they did not want that ordinance to pass with the cuts that were suggested, and you said that the residents did not come up with solutions. We weren't invited to the table. So when you invite us to the table, perhaps we can work together and give you and offer some solutions. So anytime you want to hold a finance committee meeting and invite the residents, I'll show up.
Okay, yes, we do have finance committee meetings, as you're well aware, and we have to publish them publicly because by state statute we have to have 48-hour notice. So we have had finance meetings, and again, as you may know, many people don't come. We have them at 6:30 because there was a criticism having them too early. So we have them at the usual time, 6:30 p.m. But as you know, a lot of our people do not get involved in committee meetings. So we can't publish it anymore because you can only publish it with what we have, which is the cable access channel, the internet, that type of thing. So we use all available resources to us to invite the public. And they're free to come and free to have their input because we have public address at every committee meeting, including finance.
And I don't know what's going on with the voice, but yeah, you do have the meetings, but my suggestion is when you want to make decisions and you want the input from the residents, I don't know that the last finance meeting brought up the subject of the cuts that were being thought about. So if you want our input, ask for it, I'll be there. I come to most every meeting that I can make if it's possible for me to be there. But I'm simply saying, if there's decisions to be made and you want the public to know, public, you do have to come out, because local government impacts your daily lives more than the federal government or the state government. So we have to come out and voice our opinion and say what it is we want, and we would trust that you try to do the right thing by the residents. That's it.
One of the things I'd like to say is that there has not been any regular finance meetings. If the residents know that if it was every first Monday of every month or whatever it was, you would get more attendance. But to have a finance meeting, just say, okay, we're going to have a finance meeting, and then post it on the window there 48 hours before. All these residents don't come to the village hall to even know that there's a finance meeting. So whether it's by design or whether it's by accident, whatever the case may be, I think before the last finance meeting, the last one was April 20th, I think it was, April 24th. So to get more participation, you have to have regular dates, like everyone knows to be here every first and third Monday because of the board meeting. So if it was put in a regular time slot, I think there'd be more participation.
Mr. Lee, before you speak, just so everybody's aware, these are published on the internet, and they're email blast to everyone. So those are the only available resources we have. Not only the Finance Committee, all other committee meetings have no regular time slot. So we use all available media that's available to us to publish it.
Pardon me? Yeah, I mean, you could set a time slot if you want, just like we've got this time slot here for the regular board meetings. Every month, we're going to have a finance meeting on the third Wednesday of the month, or So there's nothing preventing.
Oh yeah, Potato. Everything is supposed to be in the board meetings, right? And also the warrant lists, which are somehow lacking for Dalton. Oh, by the way. Yeah. If now Mary Kay Dugan was a really good clerk, and she really did a good job on the meeting minutes. Just saying.
That the schedule be put out there for those regular meetings.
Of course, she didn't go to Rome either.
Well, Mr. Lee. My turn. Yes, sir.
Okay. Greetings, Mayor, Board, City officials, and fellow residents. I don't know if you all heard that news blurb, because they pushed it off the news pretty quickly. They were saying that the South Suburban area gets less return on their tax dollars that they send to Springfield than just about every other area in the city. The more affluent areas are getting 4 to 5 times more of revenue back in goods and services. Places like Orland Park, where y'all like to go spend your money. Places like that, they get much more money back from Springfield. My question is to the board and to the mayor: is there a way to get with this new government that may be coming in when Warner gets out, and maybe we can maybe get some changes made there? Are there any preparations? Have you all discussed anything about maybe increasing our share of the money that comes back from Springfield? That would be a great alternative to cutting department heads that we need much more than trustees.
Yeah. Well, there's not been any discussion on my end. I think that a good way to approach this is to our legislators to try to put a bill in place, if possible, put legislation in place to try to get more of that funding to come back to South.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If all the local politicians, especially the ones in this area, can get together and put together a proposal to get comparable revenue that some of the ones at the top of the scale are getting, our problems would go along. If it doesn't solve our problems, it would go a long way towards solving those problems. And we wouldn't have to come here talking about chopping off heads of people who also, they have vital interest in the community. And I know you say don't get emotional, but I ain't about throwing people out in the street, frankly. If it can be helped. If there are other alternatives, those need to be explored first and foremost. Secondly, on that same subject, I would like to know, I'm not familiar with every detail on the ordinance that the mayor vetoed, but are we talking department heads, or are we talking department staff, or are we talking about a combination of those? And at the end of that, my question would be exactly what percentage of the budget would this save? Would we save more money from cutting a couple of trustees? Would we save more money than maybe adjusting the different salaries? I'm not just throwing this out here. I'm just trying to see what the impact would be, because we know what the impact would be if we start chopping all the department heads, because we already have difficulty with services as most of us already know. We mentioned roads, we mentioned schools, we mentioned all these things. You start chopping all these people, that's penny wise and pound foolish. That doesn't make a lot of sense to cut off the people that provide the vital services to people like us. Okay? Now there has to be another way to do this, and I think one way to start on that is to get together with the other South Suburban mayors and stuff and so forth, get that report, and present it to whomever wins the governorship and that particular group that are going in. And I think we need to get on that now rather than wait until the last minute and get that done. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
That's some of the input you maybe need to get in the financial meeting. Things of this nature, because there are ideas out here, but we don't really know the numbers like you all do, like the numbers that you all were talking about today. They may be available for. I haven't seen it on the internet or anything about with the numbers. How bad our budget is, how much we need, the projections and things of that nature. It's one thing to say, well, we can need a long-range plan, but you cannot plan without the facts. You can't plan, and we don't know these things. So it's up to you all to get this information to us. And if you're going to start getting input from all of us, you're going to have to start sharing the information with us. Okay, there's no other way to do that.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Lee. And to answer your question, it was department heads, it was personnel. Matter of fact, there are cuts across the board. Across the board means every department.
Yeah, I understand what across the board means.
10% non-personnel. To answer your question, we're looking for also non-personnel cuts, which means equipment, supplies, that type of thing. But we will have a budget coming up. It will be announced. And on September 17th, we'll have Mr. Vince Kankar here concerning that $1.3 million tax anticipation warrant. So you're absolutely right. You have to know the budget. I'm assuming that it's online because it's supposed to be published. So it should be online, the budget that we're referring to, the one that was passed. But if not, we will have a budget, not a budget hearing, but a committee meeting coming up, and it'll be announced within the next couple of days or so, where the public is invited, and it'll be approximately 6:30 p.m., where we'll go over every line item like we were supposed to do at the August 10th meeting, which didn't happen. But for this next finance meeting, we will go over every line item of the budget.
But looking at the bigger picture, I strongly suggest you all get together and get with these other cities and see if we can get some of our money back.
Yes,
that will go up much further than just us cutting each other's throats in this village.
Yeah, it was mentioned. It was mentioned that this wasn't political. And last year, I think it was last year, some members of this board was going to vote to terminate my staff. So after the attorney mentioned the fact in regards to what litigation in the chart it would start, he went back and took a look and said, well, we're going to make it look like it's not just his staff. So we're going to cut some other people. But the other people we cut, we're going to cut because we think they associated with the mayor. And this is going to hurt some services. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel much more comfortable with the financial interpretation of our budget and whether we need to cut or not by using Trustee Jason's House explanation. He's got the background, 15 years at the bank, working with financials, and to him and with our finance director, they're both saying we don't need to cut. So I don't know what else is behind this, but it certainly sounds political, and I mentioned that in my veto. So we're going to try to stop it, whether take an emergency motion in court to put a stay on this action by this board to stop this political rhetoric and political firing. And that's exactly what it is. So we have avenues, and we're going to exhaust every last one of them to try to stop this political retaliation, if you will, against me that's going to affect you. Go ahead, Diane.
Good evening, Mayor and Board and residents. Okay, first thing, you said that you got no input from the residents. First of all, we're not allowed to give input, and if we do give input, you guys don't listen to us anyway. That's number one. Okay, number two, okay, one of my inputs would be, why does the trustee board have their own lawyer? If you want a lawyer, you know what situation the village is in, pay for it yourself if you want to do something for the residents. Why are we paying for it? We don't have the money. Number two, we just gave one of you got two lawyers, right? Okay. We just paid one of your lawyers $30,000 to get tax liens off for 6 houses. Why are we paying that? None of this money is coming to us, but we don't have the money. Okay. Now you're talking about suing the mayor because he won't sign over 18 houses. Now, people, that's 18 houses times $5,000 per house. But we don't have the money, but we have it if they want it.
But it's not $5,000 a house.
Well, that's what they said before.
Yeah, it's much more than that.
Okay.
So
they're suing me.
Yeah, they want to sue me, and
I said they're getting ready to sue you.
They have filed a lawsuit. It's up tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, or you don't know.
I don't know.
It's the return date.
It's a return date, so you have to.
Yeah, 4 trustees here. Trustee Mohammed,
We know who they are.
Trustee Stubbs. Some of the people may not know. Trustee Mohammed, Trustee Stubbs, Trustee Denton, and Trustee Pearson. Trustee Pearson have filed a lawsuit against me to force me to sign over the deeds to these houses that they gave to this BP Capital for nothing. For nothing. The village is not getting one dime from that. But you know what BP Capital gonna get? They've already sold mostly all of them. And I'm hearing in the range from $30,000 to $40,000. Now figure that out times 18. Now we've been approached by investors and realtors to say, you know, Mayor, we'll take your vacant houses and we'll pay you money for them. So why should we give them away? Why should we give them away and not get one red dime or penny for it? You know. So you know what I want to know before I sign those documents?
Who's paying for the taxes?
No, I want to know who they sold them to and how much they got for it before I sign off on those deeds. Because I think that this village should not be providing a resource for a private entity to make that kind of money, and we don't get anything for it.
Okay, I think that this trustee board, they need to lead by example. Just don't do a lot of talking. There's things that you can do to help this budget. Okay, another solution. It takes more money to pay overtime than it does to pay regular pay. With the amount of budget that we're paying overtime, we can have more than 2 police officers. We can have more than 1 fire department. We can afford to make our village safe. Okay? Now, the last question, Mayor, is for you. I want to understand what this email blast is about. I want to set it to rest. Now, are they allowed to use the system to do the email blast, but they have to have their own list, or do they want to use your list? Is that what the thing is about?
Over the years, since I came into office, we built a lot of relationships. We built a lot of requests for doing certain things, and we ask when we have people attend our events for their phone numbers and their emails so we can contact them when we have events. And some people have emails, some people don't. Some people we have to call. But, you know, on some of the things that, you know, I like to do and go forward with, they cut the budget on, you know. But then again, they want to use our access in our emails to notify the things that they have to get done. So I think it's a two-way street.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. The question is, okay. The question is, if they form their own list, because see, people when they sign to give you their email address, they sign it up to give it to you, not to share it. I wish you would have had a disclaimer on there, else I would have never gave it to you. But I don't think that you can really give out other people's email address if they only gave it to you. I mean, you may have to talk to a lawyer about it. And if it's the list, why can't you guys form your own list? I mean, is it just I mean, if they had an email list, could they use that blast system?
Yeah.
Okay, then why do they keep saying that it's the mayor? If you are that strongly and want to get your information out, guess what? You'll get out there and get email addresses just like he did. There's no reason to keep jabbing it. I'm so sick of hearing we don't have access to the email blast. No, you got access to the email blast. You don't have access to his email addresses. So let's let that rest.
You know, and I hate, you know, like Trustee Muhammad sometimes where the mayor never answers me. Well, I mean, you answer those emails when you want to threaten me. It behooves you. Come on. You know, I'm not getting that back and forth stuff like that. So, and you know, there was talk about me not putting anything in the budget or participating in the budget. Do you really think they listen to me?
Nope.
Have they been listening to me?
No.
Why? There's so many other things I can get done in the village here rather than sit and say, no, we ain't gonna do it. We're gonna listen to you no way. So, and, you know, the village attorney, John Murphy, says their budget. It's their budget. They got the votes. And you know, I believe it's not their budget. I believe it's Trustee Muhammad's budget.
Okay.
You know,
Mayor,
so anyway, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, and lastly but least, now, Muhammad, you always bringing up something is political. Why is it that you have to bring Mr. Kemp in to go over Ms. Redmond? She knows this city. We have Mr. House here. I don't care if he volunteered. I don't care what he do, but he's working for you. He's not working for these villagers, and neither are you. I mean, you're the first one. Look at your body language. I'm, oh, my back hurt. Okay, yeah, whatever. You know, some of the things that you guys say, you really insult the intelligence of these residents. So that's all I have to say.
Hello, Mayor, trustees. I just have a question. Well, I called up here the other day about the recycling thing, and they said they didn't take tires. So I Googled and found out who took tires, and I don't know who I told, but I thought I heard it mentioned today because they right there in Riverdale.
Yeah.
They are $2 to drop off some tires because I see people dumping them in the streets.
Right.
Yeah. So.
You know, when you go to buy new tires, you have to pay for disposal.
Yeah.
Because now they don't
They don't want to take.
they don't take them for free.
Right.
You know, and so we have to pay for disposal too. So
Well,
that's why you'll see certain areas, people are dumping their tires because if they go get new tires and they don't want to pay the disposal fee, they put them in the trunk, and then at night they come and they throw them in the back of your house or something.
Well, I
like
just
that.
gave them a place to suggest to people when they call because I asked did they have a suggestion. They was like no.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
thank
so-
you for that.
You're welcome. My other thing is I live on 150, 32 Beachview.
Uh-huh.
Behind me is the railroad tracks.
Right.
It's
Thank you,
wild
GB.
trees, everything coming over my 6-foot fence. Who maintains that?
I don't know.
Me, because I've been there 20-some years and I've been paying somebody to do it. I'm kind of tired of it.
We can check. I'm quite sure behind your property there's an easement. I'm not sure how far it would be. Usually it's, I would say about 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet. So directly behind your property, and you can look on your survey if you have one. You can see how far your property goes back behind
Well, my
your
fence
fence.
is where my property ends.
Usually they don't put the fence on the property line.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want any encumbrances on your title or your deed when you want to sell the property. So they usually put it inside the property line. So I would suggest if you have a survey to look at the survey and you can see actually how far your property line goes back beyond that fence. And the rest maybe is the railroad, and we can try to address that.
Yeah, because I tried to call them. They didn't, I call them every year.
Yeah. But we've been having a problem with them too, because there's certain areas right away that the railroad has that they haven't maintained.
Right.
And so there's been some tickets issued, but openly, they need to do a better job to clear their right of ways. So that's
So it's up to me then, huh?
Pardon me?
It's up to me to find out who owned it.
Well, I would strongly suggest you to see where your property line is, and then from that point on, if it's a railroad property, we can try to, additionally make some comments to them to address it. Okay, all right, that's even better.
Thank you.
An engineer,
All right.
take a look at it.
That's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
To the mayor and the board, I'm representing Melanie's Fitness Center, and I just wanted to come and thank you that you were a man of your word. You said that you was going to send someone and start working on it, and they have been there working on it, but the process is really slow.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to find out, do you have a time frame when the pool will be up working?
Well, we've ordered the items, and it took like three weeks to get the items. It just came in, I think it was last Thursday or Friday. He's been doing some of the patching on the pool, and that's a lengthy process to get it done and dried out. So we can't paint it. I think he's going to paint it with epoxy paint to seal it. But I think most of the patching is done now, and they probably will start painting the pool by the end of this week. So we're probably looking at maybe 2 weeks for the pool to be up. Now, but it's going to have to be re-inspected. So once it's re-inspected, and they're checking off all the items that the last inspection that was in violation. But we're going to clean it up. They're doing the painting now. They're steam cleaning all the locker room areas, the spa, bathroom area and stuff like that. So it'll be up and running.
The reason why I'm asking is
Yeah.
we're losing a lot of people
They'll be back.
because the majority of the people that goes there use the pool,
Yeah.
and they're older people like myself.
Yeah, I think they'll be back because, as you know, a lot of the new fitness centers don't have pools.
Right.
Because they want to get rid of the liability of somebody possibly drowning or getting hurt and injured in the pool. So I think once it's all done and everything, they'll be back. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, board, I'm also representing Melanie. And again, I would like to thank you for your presence, because we have been seeing your presence around the fitness center. And thank you for being a man of your word. That goes a long way. And one other thing that I would like to add, since we're not utilizing the gym.
Okay, so for everybody, you'll probably see me moving around. As you can hear, my mother's TV is very loud, and I don't want to interrupt a lot into these meetings so you can take it all in. So you'll see me moving around, but it's, as you can hear, my mother's TV. She's watching Death in Paradise. What can I tell you? Okay, thank you. And thank you, GB.
Like our membership that we paid for, when the pool do get up and running, can the members be compensated some kind of way, like with a month or two of membership, because we wasn't able to use the pool for that length of time?
I don't know about that. to be honest with you, you know, I can't give anything away.
Mhm.
So it would have to, I would say, you need to be brought for the board to see if they wanted to make, you know, provide some compensation for you for that.
Well, how do I present that to the board? Do I ask the board now? I mean, because it's not fair to us either.
Yeah.
You all are still taking our monies
Right.
for those months that the pool was down. So, you know, it was money came out of our pockets.
So you say maybe 50% because you use the other part?
Yeah, well, you know, the pool is the main thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you know, I think that'd be any refunds that are given back would probably have to go before the board.
well, we're
So-
not looking for refunds, a monetary refund. We're just looking for an extra month or two towards our membership.
Okay.
So how do I get a?
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
We'll figure out a way to have that addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Mayor
you
and
doing?
residents.
Mhm.
I just moved to Dalton about 4 years ago
Okay.
and bought my house 2 years ago on 144 Place by Chicago Road.
Okay.
I've been coming here for more than a month already, addressing an issue that I have. I live next to the bar.
Uh-huh.
I can't find parking. It's in weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday issue that I have.
Mhm.
The whole Chicago Road is full of cars. 144 Place is full of cars, and I have to park in 145th when I live on 144.
Okay.
I have 2 kids that I have to be walking with them in the middle of the night. Well, not in the middle of the night, but maybe like at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
because there's no parking. I addressed this to Jason, to Sandra. I've been calling them, no answer. So, I mean, I'm kind of like a little bit bothered already.
Where are you on the same side of the bar?
Yes, right next to it.
Right behind it?
Yes.
Are you on 144th place?
Place.
Okay. What the board can do is look into maybe establishing an ordinance for residential parking.
If I can speak to that as well. Since our conversation, and I do recognize the conversation, I've spoken to the owner of the facility, and he's claimed to be working on the parking, but I'm not putting a lot of stock into that. We do have on our upcoming board meeting, the next one, which is a committee of the whole. I spoke with the clerk that we will have that on the agenda for permit parking, as we've discussed. So that will be up for a discussion so that the entire board can hear more about the situation and find some direction. There could be some challenges with the permit parking, not so much the voting side, but the implementation, because permit parking, even if approved, will require getting all of the signs, making sure that we know the addresses for the homes, how many permits are we going to give out, and then consideration as well from yourself and the neighbors on. If you do have people coming to visit you, you only have so many slots, and that could also propose some other challenges. So those are things that need to be talked out.
Yes, I mean, I understand. I mean, families have parties, birthdays, etc. You know, but like I said, this is an issue of every single weekend. Like I have told you, if that was a bar, I would have never bought that house, you know, in the first place. Because I even put cones. I put the garbage can. Once I got there, they took it out already and took the spot. I mean, so at this point, it's like, I don't know what to do no more.
Okay.
I mean, I suggested, like you said, some, like in the city of Chicago, permits or something, you know, because, I mean, I'm paying taxes here too. And
Right.
my husband, he's already like, he wants to sell the house already because he's fed up already.
Yeah. Okay. We'll address it, ma'am. You have her number? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if y'all can hear me on this mic.
Baba Hill.
That house by the library. What's to that house by the library? And the village responsible for going there, cutting the grass and stuff. And this house that you all was nice enough to go back there. And don't get me wrong, that's a terrific job y'all did on that landscape off that greenhouse over here off Sheridan. But why would they put all the debris right behind the old OBGYN clinic? They piled it all back there.
Man.
I mean,
our people did that?
My thing is, I was so humble to see it done that I didn't even think about it until a week or so, and I was like, wow, why is all this debris, you know, back here? Now we got these little signs that say people gonna be charged $750 some odd dollars for littering. Who responsible for going around overseeing that? Because out of curiosity, I wondered how much it cost to post those signs up. But now I'm even more curious about who enforces it.
Now you'd ask me 5 questions.
And get ready to go 3 more because I don't want you messing with me 3 minutes because I ain't heard nobody have to do nothing with 3 minutes. So I want to stay.
I made a comment in regards to the 3 minutes, but you give me 5 questions. Why don't you ask me one at a time? Let me answer them because I won't be able to remember them all.
No, I'm respecting. Because see, that stuff where you use time answering them questions, you can't do it when people call. I ain't going to use the people's time. I ain't going to have people telling me they want to get my minutes back from me. But this suing the mayor, this ain't going to cost no more money than things already unnecessarily cost out here. And this house situation, Everybody on that board, no offense when I say that, it seemed to be a whole lot of people on the board that's able to get hold of these houses, where people that want to buy them, they literally have to get a camel from the desert to ride him in and promise him some water to get it. Now, the reason I only came into the meeting is because I was meeting with some people right here. They're going to call here tomorrow wanting to know about purchasing this cable company, and on the fact that they met me at 7:30 tonight on my bike. And here's the one thing I said.
Purchasing a cable company.
They interested in it. I don't know about person, but they very, very interested. It's not their first time. But I assured them that they would get a real professional individual. Because, yeah, they're going to let it be known that Ms. Hill is the reason. Because it's two people. I'm warning them to come out here. I really would like somebody to come get this show, but the two people I'm warning, they not there. But they interested in this cable company, and my thing is, I'll be glad when you all get to the point, y'all make good deals when it comes to y'all houses, y'all business, and anything concerning you all. And I don't be meaning to be offensive when I say this. But what is so blinding that you all can't seem to do it for a community, and you pass these people every day, and it don't bother you all. And, you know, me saying stop, that's got to be between you, God, and your conscience. But why is it that you all want to keep doing this over and over and over again and not allowing no opportunity whatsoever? The reason I don't come and want to answer is because you all rarely give me an answer, you know, when I contact you all. So then I have to go to people that got a little bit more power than y'all, you know, serve y'all subpoenas and, you know, make y'all have to come and give statements and depositions. That's crazy. That's crazy. So when these people contact you all, I sure hope they don't tell me, Miss Hill, you know, just nobody to get involved with. Now, if you really sometime want to answer me back, my phone number is always listed over there. That's why I don't stand here no more and allow you all to chat up my time. So if y'all, anybody want to get back to me, my phone number listed over there, y'all.
Good evening, everybody, to the mayor, to the trustee.
Georgia, before we go, I'm been in negotiations to try to get that building tore down. The Comcast building, it was hit very hard in an accident, but the whole roof has caved in inside there. So I'm not sure about the structure, integrity of the structure there. So, but I'd like to try to get it demoed this year.
Okay, we was talking concerning Melanie. Who's in charge? Who is the person that's over the chairperson, Melanie?
There is no chairperson over Melanie.
Okay, so, I mean, I've been gone for a few days.
Yeah, there's no chairperson over Melanie. I'm not sure if you were here when some of the members came in and voiced their
oh yeah, I came back. I drove all that day to get back here for that meeting.
Their concerns about some of the issue at the Melanie, and they're being addressed now.
Okay, and to Muhammad, I guess I won't say the mayor second, but I'll just say Muhammad, because most of the questions we have to go to you for them, right? Because we can't ask Mayor Roger no question. We have to ask Muhammad.
No. You
okay, concerning, well, I mean, you don't have no voice either.
Well, the thing is, you know, the pool had been down for some time, and some of these trustees were aware of it. And I guess, and I think it was Trustee Muhammad's idea to try to use those members to come in here and crack on me.
Oh, okay. Well, you're proving your point, so we appreciate it.
So at any rate, they could have put something in progress to get the place going. So
okay, my next question is concerning the finance meeting they supposed to have next time. Is this going to be after the veto or before? Do you have any idea when the next finance meeting going to be?
We don't know the exact date yet to answer your question.
Well, how will we know?
As I stated before, it'll be published the way we normally publish them.
Okay, because I'm very concerned. I've just imagined what this village would be like without, for instance, excuse my expression, but Miss Liz Scott. And, you know, the head is always somebody that's so important to the village. That's what's really aggravates me. Why is it somebody that's so important to the village that they want to get rid of? If they get finance for the two lawyer and all that stuff,
Douglas.
look like they should be able to find something to keep our good people on. So I don't think we should have to, wait until, I can't wait till the next election, but I'm saying, but I got to be here until the next election. Okay, so we want to see if we can get some help. We really want to keep our good people on. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and residents. My question this evening was that I called earlier about a 1 o'clock meeting, and I was told there was no meeting. But I hear that there was a 1 o'clock meeting today pertaining to extended from last Monday's meeting. Was there a meeting today at 1 o'clock?
There was an election.
Exactly.
There was an election board meeting today.
At 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Was it posted, Mayor? Trustees.
Was it posted? Okay. You were at last,
I was here, but I called. I didn't know.
You were here at the last meeting, and they mentioned at that meeting that the meeting was going to be today.
Sure did.
Yeah. So whoever answered the phone today, they probably was not aware of the election board meeting because it wasn't a regular scheduled meeting.
I looked on my app. It wasn't on my app. I looked for the events that would happen today.
We don't have to post that. That's not a village event. It's a challenge with for the election board and the petitions. Yeah,
Okay.
that were
All
filed.
right. So it was in fact held this today. I'm just asking, please. And the other thing was that Trustee Stubbs reported the dedication for Mayor Shaw. I didn't see that.
Ms. Creighton, you're not going to see everything.
But I don't think, you know what, would you want it to be funny if something happened to you? I'd like to know about things that happened in the place that I live. And I'm disappointed that it wasn't, because I didn't want to miss that. There are things that I don't want to miss. And I check the things that you say, that our app and the cable channel and all those things. I don't think it's funny. I just want to know that if you would please consider posting the things that every citizen needs to know. I'm not saying just me.
Ms. Creighton, we post a lot of stuff, and I don't think any resident is going to see 100% of everything that's posted and put out there. Now, tomorrow they can post a thing on the door for a special meeting. Mm-hmm. If you don't come to this village, you won't see it.
But required by law, that shouldn't be posted somewhere else other than on the door.
It's correct me if I'm wrong. A conspicuous place. I think the statute says.
Meetings have to be posted on the website.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just meetings that have to be posted on the website. Nothing else has to be posted legally on the website. Okay, thank you. That was a eye-opener. And also, Mayor, I know you said that you didn't know when you would open up Fire Station number 2, but is there any reason that there's a reservation on opening back up that other station?
Well, if you've been here at every meeting, as you discussed, as this board discussed what type of financial condition it is, and the long list of things that they want repaired over there. How do we spend the money? Where do we spend the money? I think with the move of the second station, they moved to the first station. I don't think there's been any delay in service, and I think it's working out well.
But you know what? I think that anyone that knows that there's a call, I think you said at the last meeting, there's a call that made and you time the response. I think it's unfair for citizens to be paying taxes and someone decides that they're not going to open the second fire station because of what? I'd like for the trustees to tell me why that fire station, what violations are there, and why can it not be open, please.
I just have one more question. I know you said that we're going to have another financial committee meeting and we don't know the date. Is it possible that we can talk about a date as long as it happens before the next open meeting?
It'll be before the February 17th meeting. That's the best I can give you for
February?
now, because the reason February. I'm sorry. Did I say
please,
February?
please.
This next board meeting, which will not be a cow meeting, because the trustees are going to make it a regular board meeting, by the way, because that was a misnomer that it will be a cow. It will not. It'll be a regular board meeting. But before that meeting, which is September 17th,
right,
which is about approximately 2 weeks from now, we will have a finance meeting between now and before the 17th of September.
Okay, great. That's all I needed. Thank you.
One reason I think that some of these board members want to change it from a committee of the whole is because they cannot vote to override my veto at a committee of the whole meeting. So they want to rush, override my veto to get rid of the targeted people. As Trustee House stated, it's a committee of the whole meeting, but you heard what the other mayor said. They're going to change it from a committee of the whole to a regular board meeting to vote on that veto, to override my veto, which means they would like to get rid of these targeted people quicker than they should. So, well, that's where the court has to come in. We're going to have to see what type of remedies we can seek to put maybe some type of emergency order in, emergency function, in regards to putting the stay in order.
Good evening.
Carol.
Good evening. I'm Carol Lloyd, and I've been a resident since '91. But what I wanted to say, because at first I wasn't going to say anything, but some just keep pushing me. But I just want to say that I'm asking God to move on the hearts of this board, to soften your hearts and give you a spirit of humility. And also understand that when you cut off the mayor's staff, when you cut them, you're cutting the residents. The reason I say that you're cutting the residents because we voted for him, and he has her and them, and they help him so well. And the things that are done because of what they bring to the table. And you all don't bring anything to the table that's beneficial. So, I just couldn't sit there any longer, but I had to come up and give my piece of what I feel. And you sit up here and then you sometimes you just treat residents when they come up with such disrespect, when you should be given respect because you're there because we voted for you all. And I guess you should remember that another voting is coming up. And the main thing is just remember that you reap what you sow. Just remember that. If you don't remember anything else, you reap what you sow. And so now you think that you want to get rid of people and then you're going to get up here and run everything and everything's going to run smoothly. But it's not. Because just what you put out is what's going to come back to you. Now, if you want this village, if you really concerned about this village, you want everything to really to go forward, then what you do is put down your no, I don't want to say feelings, but your malice. Put down your malice and all the other things that spur you to do the things that you do out of vengeance and just whatever, and begin to work with the mayor, because he's the one that's in leadership. He's the leader, and so God has given him a vision for this village. So what you're supposed to do is find out what that vision is and try to help and work toward getting it done, and then work out your differences. Forgive one another. Okay? Forgive one another. Because with all this bickering, all it's going to do is just continue to divide, continue to tear up. Then what happens when everything is all tore up and then the good people gone? Hello, Ford Heights.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, and residents. I just want to add on to just what the young lady just said. When I watched the TV on the 10th, I noticed that Mr. Muhammad's attitude is very arrogant while other people up here are talking. He is so arrogant that he's turning away, looking back there on his cell phone. He's not interested in anything that anyone has to say. He has to remember, although some board meeting nights, there's not many people here, but a lot of people do watch it on Channel 4, and they see what is going on. And my other thing I want to say is that I can't understand. I worked on the mayor's last election, and I worked with you, Mrs. Denton, and your husband. I've been on the credit board on my job. I've been on different things on my job. But when I got on it, I was there long enough to learn what I was doing before I voiced anything against anybody. I was totally surprised at you at the first meeting that you voted no with the rest of the board members on everything. And you cannot tell me that you knew what was going on. I will never believe that. I'm not going to say that nobody's ignorant or smart or anything, but we have to be neutral. And tonight, even for you to be a new board member, to go along with everybody else and to vote on not allowing the mayor to have veto power, and you a new kid on the block. I just cannot understand that. I've been a new kid on the block on organizations that I was on. I sat back, read, and did my homework. Before I made a vote with the rest of the people, because the rest of the people want you to go along with them, and that is usually not the right way to do things. I was very disappointed, and I was very disappointed tonight in the voting. And then another thing, what gives whoever thought it is to sell the fitness center? Who has that power? Did you all bring it to the board? Did you bring it to the people? Say, do you want to sell this? Who gave you the power to do this? It's like you are the mayor. You are running this show. You didn't win, but you are trying to run this show. And that's all I have to say.
Good evening, Mayor, everyone. I just had something just came to mind. So this is for you, Trustee Denton. If, in fact, Public Works Superintendent, which is, I'm assuming is Matt Stacy, if he is going to be removed, then on the 28th of September, Public Works Supervisor possibly is being removed. Who's going to run Public Works? Who will that be?
It's my understanding that there would be a person that is of senior authority that would be over the rest of the workers. So everything would fall into place, but we don't have exactly out right now because this thing is not settled yet. So
okay, so if it were settled and you had to put somebody in that position, not an easy job to do.
No, it's not.
So there's got to be somebody in mind. Now, I'm sure that there are union people over there, and so if there are union people, there's some contractual issues about giving out promotions or stuff like that. So you got to have a plan. Don't wait until tomorrow to find out what you should have done yesterday, because that means if there's nobody there and the snow falls, who's going to shovel the snow? So I know somebody up there has had to have talked about this, and I only picked that particular one because I know about the other three. You know, what's going to happen, those would just be probably faded away. Don't know what's going to happen with the media department because now, well, I don't get the newspaper, so I can't read about anything. I don't get the little plackets in my lawn anymore about beautifying Dalton. I don't get that.
So that wasn't paid for by the village. I paid for that.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but I think what happened with that, I was told, because it said the mayor, that was the problem. So it
This is not my fault. It's the thing.
doesn't exist at all.
This
I
don't
think
exist again
Trustee
because I
Pearson
just-
told me once that he had something to do with putting them out as well.
He contributed when he was on my side. But since then, no. But there are going to be some signs. I ordered them this week.
Okay.
And they should have went out last month, but with all this other stuff going on and stuff. So, but anyway, with these cuts of department heads, I think some of the trustees that's promoting this fail to realize and are forgetting that I appoint department heads. So as far as a senior public works person running the department, that's not going to happen. It's my appointment, and that's one thing they can't take away from me. Now you can cut the salary, whatever you want to do, but it's my appointment.
Okay. So then that answers the question that apparently Trustee Denton didn't know. If the mayor appoints.
He appoints it.
So somebody's not telling you the whole story. Because if in fact you were part of that budget, part of sitting down discussing it, then you should be able to answer every question.
And I answered
you
it
can't.
to the
No,
best
you
of my
didn't, because you
ability.
said it's my opinion or my thought or the way I was told.
Well,
but
what
you
more
should
would
know.
they base it on? I mean, if that's what was discussed and that was my understanding, that's all I can relate back to you.
Okay,
no,
so
I told and I shared what I knew, but I'm not going to argue back and forth. Thank
okay,
you.
I understand. So the other thing about that, so then the public works manager, is that a new title, or mayor? Is that your appointment?
Well,
Because
you know,
there's
I
a
think-
change in the salary.
I think the thought process was, if we change it from public works superintendent to public works manager, we can't get sued for it being because that particular job was lined out. But from my understanding, it's just disguised is a manager, but it's the same thing that the public works superintendent will do. And they made a cut in the salary part, but it's still my appointment. So I'm going to appoint the manager.
Okay. All right. Well, I like to see that because, you know, there's Matt Stacy and there's John Conway.
Yeah.
So, you know, who do you end up with? You know, and like I was saying about the media, your opinion. Trustee Denton, who will now handle the media center?
Outsource.
Outsource. Is there a plan for outsource already?
Not to my knowledge.
So when will that be? When will that be done? After the fact, if in fact this occurs, will you look for someone after the whole thing is shut down?
My understanding is in the process.
And who does that?
Have been done.
Okay, so who's the one that's on that committee? Who's looking for the outsourced people for the media center? Okay, so
this is just another form of trying to cut the communication from the village. They cut out the newspaper. You know, everybody don't have smartphones. A lot of the seniors like to get the news the old-fashioned way. They get the newspaper. So that's been cut out of the budget, and every other thing that contributes or involves activity for the residents, whether it's activity for the residents or communication for the residents, has been cut out and cut short. So they don't want you to know. Keep you in the dark. Oh, the mayor ain't doing nothing, you know, because if you don't get the news and doing the things, and if you watch Channel 4, you've seen so many things that we've done in this village, because I make sure that it gets out and Shah gets out, and we go out and we want to try to bring to you what we do to what happens in the village, you know. So I mean, from street improvements, sidewalk improvements, they just did Lincoln. Some of you may notice at night there's some limited street lighting there, but they put markers down in the middle of the street, reflective markers, so you can see where you're going at night through the village. So, and those are the type of things we try to promote and let the residents know. But you're trying to cut our information system. Go ahead, Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Pat, finish.
Yeah, okay.
Did you want
so
to
I respect your position, but as I mentioned the last time, you're a target now. So you're going to have to start to get prepared, because whenever I stop to think about something, I know it's a lot of folks that think about it. I think about stuff in my sleep, and it may not come out for a couple of weeks later, but I'm going to have a couple more questions for you. And I would like for you to say what you know to be true for a fact. And I'm going to ask you about that media center and who could potentially be running it. And I would certainly hope that you could give me an answer. I don't want to talk to Trustee Muhammad because I know his plan. Okay, so I know he knows, but I want to talk to Trustee Denton to make sure that she knows.
Well, Pat, you know that part of that cut that they put in place is for a clerk in the water department.
Right, yeah,
No.
and you know that could very well be me, because I'm very vocal, but
Yeah.
hey, but I can tell you, I'm not the one.
So,
you know.
but
You know,
if that happens, then we're going to make the decision who's going to leave.
okay, all right, thank you.
April.
How's everybody doing today?
April.
I noticed Trustee Denton. My name's Edward Steave, if you don't know.
Order, please.
I'm the media director who runs the media center. And Denton, you said they're going to outsource it. That's all him. That's all him. I want to remind people, you know, being that my department's about to be independent contractor, I'm about to lose my insurance. So I have to get all my doc's appointments out the way, all my MS specialists out the way, because they're about to take that. You know I'm sick, and you won't vote with him because he's mad at me. All I'm saying is that he's playing y'all three. He's playing y'all. I got that side camera over there. You can see him telling Stubbs, oh, don't say this. Oh, no, say that. You can see all that. And y'all let this man play on y'all. So you going to let him take my insurance and outsource it. He can't get down and do what I do. Believe me, I know. All he can do is try to find somebody that I possibly know. But they still can't get down and do what I do.
And I got to let him in the media center, so don't worry about it.
To say that they're going to outsource it, that means you're listening to him. But he don't know nobody. Anybody he knows, I know. So they're going to come to me and say, hey, you know he's trying to get me this job to do your job. So you keep following that man. Pearson, come on. You can't even look me in the eye knowing I need my insurance. And keep in mind, my MS is a progressive disease. So I just got some bad news where my MS is progressing.
Stress.
But I'm about to lose my insurance. And Pearson, you okay with that? You really okay with that? In the name of, because when Trustee Muhammad lost, he figured since I can't be married, I got to get 4 people with me so I can run things. And it's just disappointing, man. Good Lord. I can't believe you just said they don't outsource it. He had you read the media center resolution. You didn't know nothing about the media. But he used you because he couldn't do it. And y'all letting this play you like that. Trustee Tiffany Henry was smart enough to get off that boat and say, "Oh, I'm not going with that boat because that boat is sinking." I just said, "Come on, use your brain, use what's right." Knowing that you know my family, Pearson. But hey, let this man go ahead and he'll be out of office pretty soon. Then this man had a whole big speech, said, "Oh, this is not political," and took all the political jabs at the mayor. Talk about bankruptcy. He did all the political jabs and just said it's not political. Come on, you can't have it both ways. Either it's political or it's not. Take the emotion out of it. He's super angry. And he don't think people see this? He don't think people see how crazy that sounds? It's not political, and they take a bunch of political jabs. So, but God is in charge. I'll be straight. But he can't do what I can do in the media center. You got to get somebody who knows what they're doing in the media center and pay them.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
And have the codes to do it all.
And if you outsource
ultimately, you got to pay me.
Yeah. And if you outsource it, I can call Ed, Elizabeth, a number Matt, a lot of these people that they want to get rid of. Sunday, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't look at the clock at 5 o'clock when it's time to leave. They take away from their families, their time. This weekend, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. This weekend, I asked them to help me do some things while they're off duty, not working on it. And they left their families and got out there in the rain and helped me. And you don't find that in people today. That's why what we do, what comes out of the mayor's office, all the communication comes out of the mayor's office, is because they do it regardless of how much time it takes to do it. And they do it with a smile. I have not one time in the 5 years I've been in office been rejected by these people and asked them when I ask them to do something that may concern a resident. We get a mercy call from a resident, call Matt, I call Scott, and they go. Scott, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, things happen here at the village, no heat, he's out here, and they want to get rid of Scott. Who do we call? ABC? Come on out here, ABC, and fix the heat over in the police department. And bring that $7,500 bill with you. And we get this stuff done on salaries. And for Ed, and with Ed thought he found a home here. And he believed in Dalton to come out here and buy a home in Dalton. Now you want to uproot this man's family?
Outsource.
Because and then say it ain't political?
It's very political.
Ain't political, nothing personal.
And that second camera we already been in the communication to do that. But NBC man over there knows the camera's always rolling. So if you on the phone while somebody's talking, or if you in the camera back there in the mirror fixing your tie while somebody's talking,
or you want to use
that's on you.
If you want to use a 4-letter word towards the mayor,
the mayor, he knows the camera's rolling. Yeah. You should know that. He knows that.
Just remember, Edward, what God has for you, He is for you. No matter what.
I just have one more thing to say.
Okay. All right, we're gonna cut. Yeah.
But
put us. Yeah.
When you made this decision to do the cut, and you had the people that you want to replace them with, say for instance, Ed, you said source it out. Was Ed doing a good job? Yes. Was she, Mrs. Scott, doing a good? The ones that you want to let go, I'm going to ask you a flat question. Were they doing their job?
In this case,
answer me. Were they doing their job excellently?
If
you're employee, I'm a supervisor. If an employee is not doing a good job, he does not get a good rating. He knows he's got to step up his game. Were they doing a good job? What are you going to replace them with? You're going to source it out? You're a new kid on the block. How do you rate him? And you're a new kid on the block. You cannot do it because you do not know his work ethic and his work.
Barbara, give him a chance to answer. Give him a chance to answer, Barbara.
Pardon me?
Give him a chance to answer.
You cannot do it when you only. How long have you been in office? You cannot say he has not done his job well and I will source it out. You cannot do it.
Barbara, give him a chance to answer.
Miss Barbara.
Miss Trustee Denton.
Miss Barbara.
Yes.
You giving me a whooping, and I'm gonna respect you, but I'm not gonna argue with you.
I'm not arguing.
Okay,
I'm just trying to make a point.
Okay, your point.
I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to make a point. That's all I'm
and I respect you for making a point, but your point has been made. All of the citizens that have gotten up and berated me for whatever reason, I just jump on Denton night. I don't know. Your point has been made. It's been heard. It's been received. I hear you. I understand you. But get off of Denton tonight. Please. Y'all on me. Okay? I'm taking my punishment. I'm taking my whooping tonight. But
But
okay.
you go along with the
I did not
program.
turn on. See,
Mayor.
you want to argue? I'm not gonna argue. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't do that.
This man he's the news media. Show me where he does his job.
Barbara.
Show
Okay.
it.
All right. We're gonna cut that off. All right. It's not about job performance.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, but it's not about job
When
performance.
you
These
cut
cuts.
somebody, it must be about job performance.
Yeah. Not here. It's political.
That's all.
All right.
That's
Go
all
ahead.
I'm
Elizabeth
asking.
wanted to
That's
say
all I'm
something real
saying.
quick.
Why do you the majority go along with it if it's not about job performance?
It's politics.
So, yeah, Ed, these people fired you. So all of a sudden everything's fine and rosy. You see how Dalton works? See how the politics in Dalton works? I wanted to play this specific video because, and I put the thumbnail. Ed Steave got fired because he did by Muhammad, Stubbs, Denton, and Pearson. And 3 of those people were at that caucus for Napoleon. And Ed just praised Tiffany Henyard. So this is a tale to learn. You know, when you see people getting up at that microphone that haven't been up there before, take caution. Take caution. Take caution in what these politicians say and do. You know, why is Clerk Key going to Rome, Italy to meet the Pope? How much did that cost? We know how much the Pope's house cost. But they don't tell you about the other house that they bought, which residents and people on the internet don't know about. All they want to do is hate on Tiffany Henyard. And my question is this a learned thing with these politicians? You know, I mean, Ed, you were not in a surplus when Tiffany Henyard took over. The Public Works didn't even have a working lawnmower, for Pete's sakes. You were not in a good position when she took over. You take out 4 bonds every year. I hear that you just voted on another bond, right? And these bonds are paid when the people's taxes come in. So, yeah, TK, it's like, you know, they all know each other. They can't stand each other. And Jason, they're coming after you. I'm telling you. You don't believe me? Remember when Roger says until the honeymoon is over? All right.
Politics. Gets dirty sometimes. More times than none. All right, Elizabeth wanted
I
to say
just
something.
quickly
about-
wanted to add something. Everyone here talked about day-to-day operations and how are we going to get snow plowed and everything, but nobody has figured into the long-term projects. There's several long-term projects on the table that some of us have been working on that are now going to be tabled indefinitely, things that are very time sensitive, like the flooding going on in the community. Has anyone inquired as to any of the trustees and what they're doing for flooding implementation? I have several projects on the table, one of which Ron Smith Robinson Engineering assisted in drafting, which addresses green infrastructure. Another one, which the day after, or actually we got it, we found out we were awarded the day that we were lined out, was a $600,000 award given by Tony Preckwinkle for a Dalton Freight study. I would be interested to know if any of the trustees know what WA11 stands for and how we received the $600,000. That was a study that that I spearheaded along with Matt Stacy, Ron Smith from Robinson Engineering. And when people talk about us working with other mayors in various communities to get things done, that was a project that we worked on in conjunction with mayors in adjacent municipalities, and it has to do with EMS services and overpasses being built, and how we're trying to resolve and put in quiet zones. So I would like to know if anyone's asked any of the trustees if they know what WA11 is, why we were awarded the $600,000, what's going on from there. I also have other projects that I'm working on to address the larger part of
They don't know. Absolutely don't know.
the east side of Dalton for flooding, something that I've been dealing with, and I implemented the Rain Ready Steering Committee. That wasn't just for fun or for show. I worked with U.S. Army. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I've worked with Morton Arboretum, the forestry, urban forestry, and we actually have also implemented with Ball State University and some other universities.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but Dalton, you still have the same problems. This is 2018, and the cellars are flooding, the roads are flooding, there's potholes the size of sinkholes, the infrastructure is crap. Nothing has gotten fixed. Nothing. All of this blubbering and showboating and cutting people out of the budget, it didn't, that they cut these people and these people sued Dalton. Congratulations. It seems like Dalton just wants to be sued because they don't care about the taxpayers' money because it's not their money. Hey, look, these trustees get a lot of money. They get a stipend every month as well, and they get insurance. Oh, what a comfy job. And they're being paid 40 hours a week. Do you think these trustees actually work 40 hours a week? No. Stubbs, uh, she didn't dare run for Dalton again. That's why she had to sneak into Thornton Township. And this is why they tried to silence this channel, because I was showing this. I was showing all of this in their pattern of deception. They're all snakes. All of them. Yeah, but the Pope. Eh, Did did the residents pay for Clerk Key to go to Rome, Italy, and stay for who knows how long? Did anybody even know about it? You buy two houses and you get a loan from the bank to buy the houses. Now you try to strong arm the owner of the house. And this, these liquor licenses. Rutgers has no problem getting liquor licenses wherever he wants to settle in. But it's awful funny that the Chocolate Lounge can't seem to get a liquor license. Jason House, you're the liquor commissioner. You give out the licenses. You told her to go to the residents. Why? It's your decision, Jason. But I'm telling you, they are conspiring behind your back, Jason. You can laugh at it and take it as you will. But the writing is already on the wall. Whenever Mary Avant gets involved, the writing's on the wall. And Mary Avant, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's our township. Nothing. You're not being transparent. Isn't that what you wanted? Transparency. So, as a trustee of Thornton Township, why aren't you being transparent with the residents? You won't even answer their questions. I mean, nobody is visiting that Pope's house. They make it sound like there's busloads of people visiting that Pope's house. They're not. And you're also paying for construction on the Pope's house. And it won't be open until 2027 sometime, if it ever will. And what is the plan for it? What's the plan for it? Because that road that the Pope's house is on is crap. There are so many potholes and everything in that street. It's unbelievable. You're not taking care of the residents. You're just not. Uh, it's fully updated. Yeah, turn it into a Pope Airbnb, right? What are you gonna do with it? Put up a souvenir shop? What's the big plan? And then you're gonna have to have employees attending. But the people are not coming. You try to say there's busloads of people coming and visiting the Pope's house. There isn't. Dalton, you know that. The residents of Dalton know. And trust and believe. I talk to the people that live in Dalton. Mama Hill sends me videos of garbage everywhere. What the hell does Public Works do? What does Public Works do? I mean, seriously, you're outsourcing everything. You're outsourcing snow removal. You're outsourcing water main breaks. You're outsourcing grass and tree cutting. What the hell does Public Works do? Uh, Absolutely nothing that you could see. Nothing. They should be doing the work. And I'll say it again. Get somebody in there in a truck with a lawnmower and a weed whacker and go around. It's a 5 mile radius, for Pete's sakes. It's a teeny tiny speck on the planet. And you guys can't seem to get it right. And now you got another bond. And you're settling all these lawsuits that should never have been in the first place, because a lot of them were for FOIA requests that you didn't answer, and you're still not answering the FOIA requests. You're still not doing it. I know several people who have FOIA requests in right now, and you need more time. And what is the settlement with Brown and Woods? You need more time to answer. Why? You're not being transparent. Nikita Cloud isn't doing her job. She's getting $4,000 a month. Nikita Cloud for PR is getting $4,000 a month. Trust and believe. I'm telling you the truth. For what? For what? What is she doing? You know? Oh, a class 8, you mean? Yeah. Pope's House, a class 8. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And these class 8s that are flying out the door. You know, you give a class 8 to every business in Dalton, guess what? Residents, you have to make up for that tax because they're getting a tax break for like 12 years. Ask them. Ask them. How long was that class 8 for? And they're going to tell you 12 years. And if see the paperwork, find black and white, find the paperwork. Yeah, well, Kiana Belcher as mayor. Can you imagine? Uh, she's got all the receipts, right? Hey, Kiana, where's that 12-page report that said that St. Patrick's was going to fall in? Where's that 12-page report, Kiana? Nobody can seem to find it. It doesn't exist. So that tells me that you're a liar too. You're just one of the snakes in there. And your little speech in one of these board meetings telling the trustees to cut their pay. Why don't you cut your pay? Kiana Belcher, none of you are fit to run the village of Dalton. You need new blood in there. Anyways, every Friday I am going to do a special on Dalton. I forgot it was Friday today, so I threw this one in there. But I'll break it down so it's more palatable, let me say, to show you the pattern of what's been going on in Dalton. Because this channel's been trying to tell you, other channels have been trying to tell you, but everybody wants to hate Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard did not steal any money. Tiffany Henyard is not going to jail. Let me say that again. Tiffany Henyard is not going to jail. She's not. And it's not the residents of Dalton. It's everybody around the world that, went with the narrative, got fed all the information, right? I could list the names of the people that did this campaign against Tiffany Henyard because she didn't want liquor licenses. She didn't want a lot of liquor flowing through Dalton. There's drunks on the street. There's addicts on the street. They don't want you to know that, but there is. And the Dalton residents see it every day, every single day. Yeah, 4,000 a month, TK, she gets. For what? You can't even get the website right. You can't even get the website right. Tiffany did steal. What'd she steal? Please tell me. Be specific. Trina? I see you got a new name. What'd she steal? Tell me what she stole. $10,000 for the cancer fund? What'd she steal? And you know, I'd really like to have the paperwork on it. So I can show, I can actually show in black and white, people, this is what she stole, and this is how much she stole. And Trina, what do you think about Clerk Key going to Rome, Italy, for whoever knows how? Fulton resident collecting money. That's called stealing. Well, you know, she had two positions. Did she live in both places at the same time? Did she? How much did it cost for Clerk Key to go to Rome, Italy? Everybody wants to bitch about Las Vegas and Alabama trips, right? Rome, Italy. She collected money while being a resident of Fulton County. Okay. That's stealing. Was she mayor and supervisor? And did they pay her? Did the township and did the village pay her? And why did they pay her? Did she take a leave? Did she take a leave? You know, from my understanding, you know, you can take leaves. You know, you work and you kind of get vacations. So if she gets a house in Georgia and she gets a house in Dalton, that's dual residency, right? Oh yeah, she stole. Oh, they ate good. They ate good. Now, I don't know who you are, Trina. Do you live in Dalton? Let me ask you that. Do you live in Dalton, Trina? Do you live in Dalton? What's $20,000? You don't live in Dalton. What's the $20,000? Let's have a conversation. An adult conversation. What's $20,000? What is it? Oh, GB, go in on the community post. It has links. I just dropped one. You can watch it free, and then you can it's only $1, just like the memberships that were on Conscious Channel. Well, you want to keep saying residency. Did she have a dual residency? Did, you know, we're just having a conversation. And you said $20,000. What is $20,000? I want to know. Because if she did, and I have it in black and white, you best believe that I'm going to put it out there. Because that's what I like. Videos and black and white, like warrantless. You know, I can't what? Uh, I Oh, you can't have dual residencies? Is that a law? Because I don't know. I really don't know. Well, which people's money? What about all the money that they're spending now? Oh, it was on the news, so it must be true. When was that on the news? And I'm really asking, I'm, I'm asking question because I want to know the truth like everybody else. I really do. It is a law. You cannot have dual residencies. Okay. I'm going to look that up. I most definitely will. Oh, that's okay, Wyoming. So what's the $20,000? Okay, I'm glad because I like black and white. I truly do. And all I want is the truth. All I want is the truth. Yeah, but French, he's not a public, he's not a representative. He doesn't hold any office. 12,000 from Dalton and 8,000 from the township. What was it for? What was the 12,000 and 8,000 from? I haven't seen it on any warrant list. That's why I'm asking. I really want to know. I, I know there's a delay with OBS, so I'm just waiting. Well, I want to know what's the 12,000 and what's the 8,000 for FOIAs? Okay. What about the FOIAs that are going unanswered right now that are going to be in a lawsuit in the House administration? What about those FOIA requests? Because the House administration is not answering FOIAs either. And there's already a lawsuit. Actually, there's two lawsuits in effect right now with the House administration for not giving FOIA requests. And also, the fire department is suing the House administration. Yeah, I actually played that hearing. And I didn't like Tiffany's attitude, quite frankly. And I was surprised at Kamal. He looks like he's aged 20 years. She has that same tone. Do I like Tiffany's tone? No. I've said that over and over again. I'm not defending Tiffany Henyard. I'm showing a pattern in the Southlands. This is a pattern. And I really do want to know. Oh, thank you, GB. Yeah, I got a free one. I dropped it today. It should be fun. Well, he looked like he aged 20 years. And he kind of stood there like a bodyguard. It was kind of frightening to me. Uh, I didn't like it. I didn't like Tiffany's tone. It's the same tone that she had, right? But what about the FOIAs and the lawsuits that are coming in for the House administration already? What about those lawsuits? You know? Well, that's true. He was pro uh uh pro temp. I have to understand Tiffany. Well, I've never met Tiffany in person. I've never met her in person. But I'm wondering, is this a learned behavior in the Southlands? Because I've been showing the mess, right? That, you know, Dalton, did not have a dime in the bank, not one penny in the bank in 2013. And they're still paying Chicago for backwater bills. Look on the warrant list. They're right there. They have to double up on Homewood Disposal because they're taking loans from Homewood Disposal bonds. Uh-oh, got a sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. He did look big. He looks scary. The board could have chosen not to pay her. Well, that's true. The board, holds the purse. The board makes laws. So why did they pay her? Because the board approves what gets paid and what doesn't. He was quite scary to me. He looked like he aged. I mean, his beard was really disheveled, and I didn't like it at all. And I didn't like that election hearing, but she got the vote, so she can run. Yeah, that's true. Jason was making the decisions. So my question is, okay, if it's a law, and I believe you, why did the board pay her? Because the board approves everybody's paycheck. And, they talked about the police overtime. The police are still getting overtime. Terry Young is getting a ton of overtime. Yes, but why did the board pay her? If the board paid her and approved the payments, how did she steal? That's what I'm wondering, honestly. Okay. I'll have to look into the dual residence. You're not watching, Jason? Why not? Do you just have hatred for Tiffany Henyard? Why aren't you watching Jason? They were getting overtime watching over Tiffany. Well, okay, so Terry Young, that was a big thing, right? Now the trustees said, how? How is that possible? Do you remember that on the news, Tammy Brown? How's that possible? They knew it because they pay the salaries. In every board package, they get the salaries to approve. They knew it. They knew it. And, look, Terry Young is getting overtime right now. Dalton police are getting overtime right now. Now on the streets, that's not bad overtime. I'm not quite sure what that means. I'm not quite sure what that means. Well, I'll tell you what, and this comes from a Dalton resident. Terry Young was driving Jason House around the village. Overtime. It's a fact. Yeah, really, TK. I don't care about Tiffany Onion. I don't like her. I don't dislike her. You know. Uh, she's not entitled to the. No, she never resigned. She never resigned. So Apparently it was legal. Jason wouldn't do anything illegal, would he? $1 million overtime for watching. No, it wasn't $1 million. They said it was $1 million, but I had the warrant list. And look, I'm telling you right now, Terry Young, all that stuff about Terry Young. Terry Young right now is getting overtime. All of the police departments are getting overtime. Not every officer, because some of them aren't quite up there yet. But the supervisors are getting overtime. Every police officer is getting overtime. I showed the warrant list in one of the videos. Current warrant list. The fire department, they don't even have equipment to properly do their job. Is that Tiffany's fault? Is it that you just hate Tiffany? Because I just get that feeling. Is it because you just hate Tiffany? Seriously. And we have to have these conversations. Do you believe it's okay for Clerk Key to go to Rome, Italy? For who knows how long? Seriously. Well, do you have a hatred for Tiffany Henyard? Because you don't want to talk about, I'm telling you, right now, the entire police department is getting overtime. Right now, the entire fire department is getting overtime. And they don't have the equipment to do their jobs. Okay, you really like Tiffany. Okay. So, what do you say about the police and fire overtime they're getting? What do you say about all this stuff? What about buying the Pope's house when they're broke? And another house. See, they bought 2 houses, not just the Pope's house. They bought 2. Why do they continue to outsource everything? If she stole, why isn't she in jail? Oh, she's been there before, French. I know who she is. But I'm really curious. What do you say about the entire police department getting overtime and the fire department getting overtime? It's in black and white. I've read the warrant list. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. And let me ask you, the trustees are getting paid 40 hours a week. Do they work 40 hours a week? You know, no, friend, no. Mm. Uh, Apparently she stole money because FOIA requests were not answered and they sued the village. That's not stealing. Uh, well, she got paid and she had a residence in Fulton County, Georgia. But what about all the overtime being spent? Because I've been ready for this because this channel went through a lot showing these old board meetings and warrant lists. And Ed Steve in Strand kept emailing me viciously, and he lied. So is Dalton any better? And why won't Jason give the Chocolate Lounge a license for liquor? I'm glad you don't hate anybody. Hate is a horrible thing. Horrible thing. Never felt hate. But what about the overtime going on right now, including Terry Young? And what about the fire department? They don't have equipment to do their job. They're spending money like there's no tomorrow. Well, you want to keep, yeah, Trina, you want to keep hyping on her getting paid as a Fulton resident. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Let me ask you specifically, does Dalton, can they afford Clerk Key going to Rome, Italy? The police department, all of it, are getting overtime. The fire department is getting overtime. They don't have the equipment. So, you want to just keep on with Tiffany. I'm asking you about today's problems in the House administration, and you're not answering me. I'm asking you specific questions about today in Dalton. But you just, you want to talk about Tiffany. Tiffany's not responsible for what's happening right now in Dalton. Jason's been in there a year. Just want to know, you want to know the fact? No, I'm addressing the fact. What you're doing is ignoring my facts. I'm asking about today's problems, and I'm not ignoring you. I am reading your comments. You want to ignore that fact that she is stealing. I'm not saying the rest are not doing nothing, but don't say she did not steal. You asked, okay. And we came to an agreement. And I said, I will look into that about dual residency and the FOIA requests. We've gotten past that. We've gotten past that. I'm asking you about the problems Dalton is having right now, today, Friday, the 24th of April. That's what I'm asking. I've addressed you. I've read your comments. And I said, okay, dual residency. Okay, I'm going to look into it. When I say I'm going to look into it, I'm going to look into it. But I'd like you to answer my questions as well. I don't want you to attack anybody. I don't even know what that means. I'm not sure what that means. I don't want you to attack anybody. We're having an adult conversation about the problems in Dalton, Illinois. And it's, it's the same problems. The infrastructure is falling apart. Yeah, GB, the fire department doesn't have equipment. That's dangerous. That's dangerous to the firefighters and the residents. I'm attacking Kiana? Oh, on my live. No, I'm not attacking Kiana. I asked her a specific question about a 12-page report, and she told me a FOIA. I said I did. She said, then you'll have to talk to the AG. She's the one with the 12-page FOIA request. She's the one that slung it up in the air. So when it's FOIA'd, why can't they find it? Because she said St. Patrick's was unstable and was going to fall in. And she paraded a 12-page report. Which shall be for personal bonus. Yeah, she told me. FOIA. I said I did. She said then go to the AG office. How is that a correct answer from a trustee, an elected official? It's not an answer. You know, go to the AG. It just seems like Dalton doesn't care if people sue them. You know, and I appreciate this dialogue. I really, truly do. They didn't feel she had dual residency. Yeah, I'm not an expert on that either. I'm really not. It it was funny because I really want that 12-page report that St. Patrick's is going to fall in. Because, you know, and she came on my show, insulted me. Oh, maybe Fulton didn't. I hear Fulton's not too, well, I'll just say it. I hear tell Fulton County is corrupt too. There, said it. So I hear. Yeah, nobody can find it. It doesn't exist. So they say. There's also something about an employee of Dalton where it was FOIA'd for the um, payments. And it's like, well, the AG called Dalton or Thornton Township. Oh, he's not working there. Oh, yes, he is. Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll have a wonderful dinner. It's been great talking to you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I am going to look into that dual residency too. That's why I mentioned that. It should have eyes, but it wasn't. But it wasn't. And it was FOIA'd. So, I don't know. Might be another lawsuit coming up. Did I see Jed is on Tiffany's side now? Oh yeah, I did a live stream on it. Jed is a liar. Proven. You know. Can I have dual residency because I watch what the Hales? Who's the Hales? Lives in Ohio and Florida and have to be more in Ohio than in Florida. Well, we don't even know when she was in Dalton, wasn't in Dalton. I don't know. Okay, terrific, Trina. I appreciate the conversation too. I appreciate it. How the board could vote yay or nay about Tiffany because of some of the issues. Oh, were gray areas. Well, they don't seem that gray, but yeah, go donate to him. He still owes me. He still owes me $16 for an Uber he promised me, and I have a bill collector going after him. So there's that with Jed. Oh, it's a channel. Oh, okay. I didn't know. So I'm just showing what I showed, what, 3 years ago? But next Friday, I'll, yeah, he does. He owes me. And there is a bill collector wants to. Oh, that's right, Wyoming. All in the queue did. Yeah, that's right. Oh, all in the queue. Can you put her link in the chat? She does great work. Berg has been covering Dalton as well with Choose. But we have to have these conversations, you know. I think this is just learned with the elected officials. Oh, the umbrella guy. Oh yeah. Now next Friday, I will have a more stable, instead of just running the whole board meeting, I'll cut the really important things. And how is my what does that say? What's her name? How is my I don't know what you're saying, Trina. I'm sorry. IRL? What's her name? I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what that is. Unfortunately, the bill collectors aren't in the chat. They had an emergency, and prayers to them. Oh, did you, Wyoming? Thanks for putting Q's link in there. She really goes uh oh, were you saying how's my girl? What's her name? Oh, you mean Berg? I don't know. You have her number. Why don't you call her and ask her? And Berg's not my bestie. I have my bestie sitting right next to me. You see, Trina, I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. And I know you have Berg's phone number. So why don't you ask her? Give her a call, text message her, and you know, call her up and ask her. I can't speak for anybody. Oh, thank you, Wyoming. She did a really good report on that. I just showed the meeting, right? But she broke it down and actually had the vote in there and everything. Because when I did the meeting, I didn't know what the vote was. I just played it, you know. So TK, you read my mind. What's TK saying? I said trolling. Oh. No, really, I'm just a watching. Trina, I know who you are. Come on. Stop. Stop it. uh, it's okay. It's nice to have conversations. And it's fun. I like it. I like having conversations. Uh, but next Friday, I'll have a better breakdown than just playing the entire meeting. But, Trina, go ahead and give Berg a call. I'm sure she'll take your call and answer any questions that you have about her. So, what's Berg have to do with this conversation? Well, yeah, well, nothing. But I know who it is, so there you have it. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. And my bestie is right here. You want to say hi?
Hello, everybody.
That's my bestie. Okay, I'm getting the flock out of here, and I've got, I have, you have her number, Trina. I am working on a auto, um, auto book on Ezekiel. That should be coming up next week. I'm also working on another video on Revelations. I did post a short today, Psalms chapter 91, which is wonderful. So, with that, I'm gonna say goodnight because Trina, you have her number. And you know somebody who has it too. Anyways, get the flock out of here. It's Friday night. What are we doing here? Okay, love you guys.
Yeah, I'm conscious on the move, can't on the move, can't ignore it. I've been seeing all these broken promise, profit off our feelings. They post a slogan and they vanish when it's real. We've been dribble shouting from the corners, got the same. I see you leaders talking circles, never walking what they preach. When the cameras start to fade, so does everything they speak. But the streets don't stay quiet, they remember every lie, every name, every face that just watches passing by. Conscious on the move, we're calling out the truth. No more shadows you can hide in, we're protecting all the youth. Every word, every promise that you make, we're keeping tabs on you. No escape from the mirror you face, we're holding you accountable. We don't need another slogan, we need action in the light. If you profit from our struggle, then you standing in our sight. From the boardroom to the block, every choice is being tracked. We remember where you stood when our backs were to the tracks. Conscious is on the move, we're calling out the truth. No more shadows you can hide in, we're protecting all the youth. Every word, every promise that you make, we're keeping tabs on you. No escape from the mirror you face, we're holding you accountable.
You guys got to connect the dots, DOTTS, dots, that I have felt the most connected and valued.
It's an old saying called, ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun.
In my opinion, a house is a pimp.
I like to say I'm a man of God, and I do believe in a God. And whether you're Catholic, Catholic, Protestant, or whatever you may be, we serve the same God. So it's okay if we want to help out Catholics. We want to do something that the Catholics
Senior
do.
trustee. They don't respect my seat or my title, but they get upset when I talk about them. And yes, y'all are bobbleheads. Y'all don't think for yourselves. Y'all do exactly what the mayor says, and that's it. And I'm tired of that. Y'all got to stand up for yourself and have a voice for the people. It's the people first.
I've been in this village for 35 years. I've sat under 4 mayors. And I can honestly say that this administration is the worst administration that I've lived up under.
Good evening. Come as a resident tonight. I'm gonna talk to a lady I used to call Mama. Trustee Stubbs, look at me when I'm talking to you. Please. Don't act like you don't ignore me. Because I have a lot to tell about you. And you know, we used to sit in your room, in your house, and you know how you came against you because I said, why are you in the bed with Muhammad? Why are you in the bed with Pearson? Mama, what's the outcome? What did you tell me? What did you tell me? I asked you about BP Capital. Why would you take an organization out because you said they were ran by who? Forgive my language. Racist slurs against the ethnical group that they need to get out of here because they're doing nothing? And I told you they do more for me than any of you? But yet, I want to know. BP Capital. Den, trustee, I love you. I came to you from my heart, sweetie, when we got out here for you and pushed my tail off of y'all and prayed that y'all would do the right thing. And you sit up here. You the angel of this book. I didn't hold nothing against you, but you sit up here. And you know that woman dirty. I used to listen to her talk about Joyce Myers, the Bible, all that. Trustee Den, I just want the truth here tonight. I'm coming as a resident and I'm coming as a homeowner. I have nothing else to say but the truth. I always talk help, but I'm sick of it. Because we pouring our souls out here. We giving our all. And y'all sitting up here playing with us like it's nothing. You letting that woman tell you, say it's okay. Don't you do this. Don't you do that. And you sit in the back zone. That woman don't run nobody. She stepped out her body and she's not acting right. I just want to know one thing. If you're giving BP Capital 600 houses and we in $1 million deficit, right? Let's just say we charge what? Let's just say we charge $2,000 per house. Ain't that a good investment for anybody? $2,000, $4,000. That gives us $1.5 million that we just say we'll give it away, or we'll pay trustees, or we'll pay their lawyers. You know what, y'all? It's a shame, but ain't nothing we can do. That's why you can sit up there, Muhammad, so cool, so relaxed, bro. It ain't nothing we can do. We messed up. We trusted you. I messed up, but I won't do it again. But I can tell you what, y'all all live in Dalton, right? I have 20 people outside of your house every day protesting until you leave this land.